Part 1. The opening hook. That's where trash belongs. The vodka soda explodes across Marcus Bellamy's face. Ice cubes strike his cheek. Cold, sharp, deliberate. One hits just below his eye, with enough force to sting. Another catches his neck, slides down inside his collar, melting against his skin in a line of shocking cold. The liquid soaks through his navy polo shirt in an instant, spreading dark and wet across his chest, his shoulder, his lap. The smell hits him. Vodka, sharp and chemical. Lime, melted ice water. The smell of humiliation delivered publicly. For exactly 3 seconds, Marcus counts them. Nobody moves. 73 passengers in business class are frozen. A woman in row 5 has a champagne flute halfway to her lips, suspended there, forgotten. A man in row 3 has stopped mid-keystroke on his laptop, fingers hovering over keys, his mouth slightly open. A teenager in row 8 stares with wide eyes, her AirPods dangling from one ear. The baby in row 11 stops crying. That's how silent it is. Victoria Whitmore stands in the aisle. Her hand is still extended. The empty plastic cup dangles from her manicured fingers. Her chest heaves, up and down, with exertion, with rage, with satisfaction. Her face is flushed. Her eyes are bright. She looks triumphant. She sets the cup down on her tray table. The small clink of plastic on plastic is loud in the silence. "That's where trash belongs," she says. Her voice carries through the cabin. Every syllable clear, every word deliberate. Marcus Bellamy sits perfectly still in seat 2B. Vodka drips from his beard onto the leather armrest. Drip, drip, drip. Each drop a small sound in the vast silence. His navy polo shirt clings to his chest, soaked through, dark and heavy. Ice cubes rest in his lap, melting slowly, spreading the wetness across his jeans. His face is wet. His beard is dripping. His shirt is ruined. He doesn't wipe his face. He doesn't move. He just looks at her. His eyes, kind eyes, eyes with laugh lines at the corners, are locked on Victoria's face. He's watching her moment of triumph, watching her satisfaction, watching her think she's won. Behind him, phones lift. The spell breaks. Recording lights blink red across rows 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Dozens of red lights, like eyes, like witnesses. Someone gasps. A sharp intake of breath that sounds like shock, like disbelief, like horror. "Oh my God," someone whispers. "Did she just—" A woman's voice, shaking. "Bro, BRO, that literally just happened." A young woman in row 7, her voice breaking with disbelief. "This is giving main character energy gone so wrong," her friend adds. Jake Mitchell, in economy seat 27C, whispers into his TikTok livestream. "Chat, are you seeing this? This is absolutely unhinged. She really thought she could just—" His viewer count, 1,847 people. And climbing fast, flight attendant Lily Thompson stands frozen in the galley, her serving tray trembling in her hands. The glasses on the tray clink together, a delicate sound, almost musical. Security officer David Rivera reaches for his radio in row 12, his fingers moving on instinct, his face hardening into something professional and dangerous. Dr. Sofia Martinez, in row 9, has her phone out, hands shaking so badly the video bounces. But she's recording. She's a witness. She's documenting this. Have you ever witnessed someone destroy their entire life in 3 seconds and not even realize it? The Airbus. A 321 Neo cruises at 35,000 feet over the Arizona desert, 38 minutes into Flight 722 from Los Angeles to New York. The cabin pressure is steady. The engines hum. Outside the windows, the desert spreads out like wrinkled brown paper under the afternoon sun. What happens in the next 47 minutes will end a $30 million consulting career, trigger a federal criminal investigation, cost a major firm $7 million in contracts, create a $50 million scholarship foundation, nearly half of one man's liquid personal wealth, and prove that some people's biggest mistake is assuming they know who they're talking to. But we need to go back. We need to go back 47 minutes. Los Angeles International Airport. 47 minutes earlier. Marcus Bellamy stands in the Skybridge Airlines private lounge at LAX, looking like any middle management consultant heading to a regional sales conference. At 48, he's tall, with kind eyes that have laugh lines etched into the corners. His graying beard is neatly trimmed. His movements are deliberate, unhurried. The movements of someone who never needs to prove anything. Dark jeans, worn soft with washing. Navy polo shirt. Leather jacket that's seen better days. The kind of jacket a man keeps for 15 years because it fits just right. Broken in and comfortable. Scuffed boots. A leather satchel instead of a briefcase. The strap soft and curved from years of use. He looks ordinary. He looks invisible. This is exactly the point. His executive assistant, Jennifer Kim, had argued with him about it that morning in his corner office on the 47th floor of Skybridge's Los Angeles headquarters. "Marcus, you're the CEO of a billion-dollar company," Jennifer had said, her arms crossed, her expression somewhere between exasperated and concerned. "You don't need to fly commercial to understand customer experience. We have entire departments for that. We have surveys, focus groups, mystery shoppers." Marcus had smiled, closing his laptop. "Those departments report data, Jennifer. Numbers on a spreadsheet, percentages and pie charts." He'd stood, reaching for the same worn leather jacket. "I need to see people's faces when something goes wrong. I need to hear what they say when they think nobody important is listening. What if someone recognizes you?" He'd looked down at himself. Jeans, polo, old jacket. In this, most passengers think CEOs wear three-piece suits and arrive in limousines with security details. "I'm invisible," Jennifer had sighed, the sigh of someone who's had this argument before and knows she won't win. "Fine. But at least take the corporate card, and call me when you land." "Yes, Mum," he'd said, grinning. Now, standing in the lounge, watching the pre-boarding chaos, Marcus isn't grinning. He's observing, taking notes on his phone, watching the gate agent, a young Latina woman whose name tag reads Emma Rodriguez, handle the morning rush with a strained smile that's starting to crack at the edges. That's when he first sees her. Victoria Whitmore is a whirlwind of expensive perfume, clicking heels, and vocal displeasure. She's immaculate in a cream-colored Armani pantsuit, her platinum blonde hair pulled into a severe ponytail so tight it must hurt. She paces near the priority boarding lane, her Prada handbag swinging from her elbow, her phone pressed to her ear. "I don't care what the system says, Derek." Her voice cuts through the lounge like a diamond saw through glass. Sharp, precise, cutting. "You tell Harrison that if they don't secure the Peninsula suite, the Peninsula, not the Grand Hyatt, not the Four Seasons, the Peninsula, then the entire Meridian deal is off." She listens for exactly 2 seconds. "No, Derek, I will not stay at a Marriott. Do I look like someone who stays at a Marriott? I'm billing this project at $850 an hour. My time is worth more than most people's monthly salary. The client can afford the Peninsula, or they can find another consultant." Her heels click, click, click against the polished floor. Several passengers look up from their phones, their newspapers, their coffee. Some look annoyed, some look entertained, some look away quickly, not wanting to be noticed. Marcus watches her. He pulls out his phone, opens the Skybridge internal reporting app, and types, "Note, Gate 47B, pre-boarding area. Passenger causing disruption with loud phone conversation. Monitor for potential in-flight issues." He's learned, over 15 years of building this airline from a bankrupt regional carrier into a $3 $2 billion company with 247 aircraft and 12,000 employees, that passengers who create drama on the ground usually bring it onto the plane. Victoria ends her call with a dramatic sigh and marches directly to the gate desk. She cuts in front of an elderly couple, both in their 70s, both white, both standing patiently in line with their boarding passes in hand. The older woman, Dorothy Patterson, makes a small sound of protest. "Excuse me. We were... Victoria doesn't even look at her. "Excuse me," she announces to Emma Rodriguez, her voice dripping with condensation. "Victoria Whitmore, seat 2D. I trust my upgrade to first class has been processed." Emma's fingers fly across her keyboard, her customer service smile already showing stress cracks. "Yes, Miss Whitmore. I have your reservation right here." She types, reads, types again. Her smile falters. "I'm sorry, ma'am. You're confirmed in business class, seat 2D, which is actually our premium." "I'm sorry. Did you say business?" Victoria's perfectly shaped eyebrows shoot up toward her hairline. "That's impossible. My status is Platinum Executive. I have 347,000 miles with this airline. I am always upgraded to first class." "I understand, Miss Whitmore, and we really appreciate your loyalty. Then, where is my first-class seat?" Emma's smile becomes more forced, the smile of someone who deals with this 10 times a day. "First class is completely full today, ma'am, but seat 2D is actually our flagship business pod, with lie-flat capabilities, premium meals, and I don't want to hear about the features, sweetheart." Victoria leans forward, her hands flat on the counter. "I want to hear about how you're going to fix this." Behind her, Harold Patterson, Dorothy's husband, 76 years old, Korean War veteran, wearer of a baseball cap that says "World's Best Grandpa," clears his throat. "Miss, there's a line. We were waiting first." Victoria's head snaps around. Her eyes rake over him. "Old, ordinary, not important. Well, maybe if you had status, you wouldn't need to wait in line." Dorothy's mouth falls open. Harold's face reddens, but before he can respond, Victoria has already turned back to Emma. "Are we done here? Or do I need to speak to your supervisor?" Emma's hands tremble slightly as she prints the boarding pass. "Here you go, Miss Whitmore. You're all set. We'll begin boarding in about 13 minutes. 13 minutes? It's 10:47. The flight board's at 11 o'clock. That's 13 minutes, not 15. Does anyone here know how to tell time?" Emma doesn't respond. Victoria snatches the boarding pass and walks away, her heels clicking like a countdown timer. Marcus has watched the entire interaction. He's typed more notes. "Passenger 2D, V, Whitmore. Aggressive toward ground staff. Sense of entitlement. Platinum member expecting special treatment. Gate agent handling professionally but passenger escalating. Flag for crew awareness." He's about to discover just how important that flag will be. Part 2. Meet the antagonist. Escalating bad behavior. Victoria returns to her position near the priority boarding sign, phone already back at her ear. She's not done making her presence known. "Derek, it's me again," she says, her voice somehow even louder now. "I need you to send me the Meridian contracts. All of them. The original terms, the amendments, and the penalty clauses." She pauses, listening. Her face twists with impatience. "No, I need them now. I'm about to board a 5-hour flight and I need to review them before we land." She spins on her heel, nearly colliding with a young woman in scrubs. Dr. Sophia Martinez, 34, Latina, a physician at Mount Sinai Hospital, is also in the priority boarding line. She's been on shift for 36 hours straight. Her scrubs are wrinkled. Her eyes are tired. She just wants to get home to her apartment in Manhattan, take a shower, and sleep for 12 hours. She doesn't see Victoria's rolling bag coming. The hard-shell Toomey suitcase strikes her ankle, a direct hit, corner to bone. Ow! Dr. Martinez stumbles, grabbing her ankle. You just watch where you're standing. Victoria snaps, without looking back, still talking into her phone. The hallway is for walking, not standing around like obstacles. Doctor, Martinez stares at her, incredulous. You hit Emmy with your bag, and you were in my way. For a moment, Dr. Martinez considers saying more. She's exhausted. She's in pain. She just spent 36 hours in the ER, holding the hand of a dying patient, comforting a mother who lost her son, saving lives and bearing witness to death. She doesn't have the energy for this. She says nothing, just shakes her head and moves slightly to the side. Victoria doesn't notice. She's already moved on, still barking into her phone. Tell them I want a car service waiting at JFK, not an Uber, not a Lyft, a proper car service. Black Suburban, bottled water, Fiji, not Dasani, and the driver better have my name on a sign, or I'm walking right past him and billing the client for a taxi. 3 people back in line. Marcus witnesses all of it. He catches Dr. Martinez's eye and gives her a small, sympathetic shrug. She manages a tired smile. A smile that says, "What can you do?" Marcus pulls out his phone again. Additional note, passenger 2D physically struck another passenger doctor in scrubs, Latina, 30 seconds, with luggage. No apology. Showed no awareness of causing harm. Recommend crew be prepared for potential escalation. He's building a file. Not because he's vindictive, but because he knows, has learned through years of experience, that patterns predict behavior, and this pattern is heading somewhere bad. At exactly 10:51 a.m., Emma Rodriguez's voice comes over the loudspeaker, slightly trembling. We will now begin priority boarding for Flight 722 to New York. We welcome our first-class passengers, Platinum Executive members, and passengers needing special assistance. Victoria surges forward, like she's competing for a limited resource. The line moves, but not fast enough for her. The elderly couple, Harold and Dorothy Patterson, are ahead of her. Harold is using a cane. They move slowly, carefully. Harold's knees aren't what they used to be. Dorothy holds his arm gently, supportively. They've been married for 52 years. They're heading to New York to see their granddaughter's college graduation. Victoria sees them as obstacles. "Excuse me," she says loudly. "Excuse me. Can we move, please? Some of us have connections to make." Dorothy glances back, her face flushing. "We're going as fast as we can, dear." "Well, maybe you should have requested wheelchair assistance if you can't walk at a normal pace." Harold stops, turns. His face, weathered and kind, hardens. "Young lady, we're going as fast as we're able. Patience is a virtue, and priority boarding is for priority passengers, not for people who need medical assistance. There's a separate lane for that." Emma, at the podium, hears the exchange. Her heart sinks. "Miss Whitmore, everyone in this line has priority boarding privileges. Then maybe you should have separate lines. Fast lane and slow lane. Basic logistics." Harold and Dorothy exchange glances. Harold squeezes his wife's hand. They move to the side, let Victoria pass. It's not worth it. They've learned, over decades, that some battles aren't worth fighting. Victoria doesn't even acknowledge them. She strides to the podium, thrusts her phone at Emma, the screen showing her mobile boarding pass at maximum brightness. So bright it's almost blinding. Emma scans it. Beep. "Thank you, Miss Whitmore. Enjoy your..." Obviously. Victoria grabs her phone back and pauses. She looks down the line behind her, at Marcus, standing 3 people back in his jeans and worn jacket. Her eyes sweep over him. Casual clothes, scuffed boots, cheap-looking satchel, no designer, anything. Her lip curls, almost imperceptibly, but Marcus sees it. She turns back to Emma and says, loud enough for the entire line to hear, "You really let anyone into the priority boarding lane these days, don't you?" A pause. A meaningful pause. It's losing all its prestige. Emma's face flushes red. She's been trained for this. She's been trained to stay professional, to not take it personally, to remember that she represents the company. But it's hard. It's so hard. Ma'am, everyone in this line has earned priority boarding through. I'm sure they have. Victoria's eyes flick back to Marcus one more time, taking in his entire appearance in one judgmental sweep. I'm absolutely sure. She turns and walks down the jet bridge, her heels clicking like gunshots. Click, click, click. The people remaining in line shift uncomfortably. They heard that. They know what that meant. Some look away. Some look at Marcus. One woman mouths, "I'm sorry." Marcus steps up to the podium, hands his boarding pass to Emma. Her hands are shaking now, tiny tremors she can't quite control. "I'm so sorry about that, sir," she whispers, scanning his pass. Some passengers are just, "Hey." Marcus's voice is gentle, quiet. He waits until she looks at him. "You handled that perfectly. You were professional. You were courteous. You followed protocol. That's all anyone can ask." He pauses. "Don't let people like that get to you. That's about her, not about you." Emma looks surprised. Most passengers treat gate agents like furniture, functional objects that process boarding passes. They don't see them as people. They certainly don't compliment them. "Thank you," she says, and her smile is genuine this time, reaching her eyes. "Enjoy your flight, Mr. Bellamy." He walks down the jet bridge, his mind already running scenarios. Victoria Whitmore is a problem. Problems, if not addressed early, escalate at 35,000 feet where there's nowhere to escape. He pulls out his phone one last time before the aircraft door. Alary tweet to Purser. Flight 722, passenger in 2D, Victoria Whitmore, demonstrated aggressive behavior during boarding. Multiple incidents with gate staff and other passengers. Verbal hostility. Possible discriminatory comments. Recommend close monitoring and early intervention. If pattern continues, crew safety is priority. He hits send. The message reaches David Rivera's phone in the forward galley before Marcus even boards the aircraft. David reads it, his jaw tightening. He's been a flight attendant for 20 years. Started when he was 24, worked his way up to head purser, seen everything from medical emergencies to fistfights, to passengers joining the Mile High Club. He knows what this message means. He looks toward business class, where Victoria is already settling into seat 2D, already making her presence known with sighs and pointed comments about the cabin temperature. David thinks, it's going to be one of those flights. He has no idea. Marcus steps onto the aircraft. The door is open. The jet bridge smell hits him, that particular combination of jet fuel, recycled air, and possibility that exists nowhere else in the world. He's always loved that smell. Even before he owned an airline, the business class cabin is his pride. He worked with the design team for 18 months to perfect it. Graphite-colored privacy shells. Ambient lighting that adjusts to time zones, warm and golden now for daytime travel, designed to shift cooler and bluer as evening approaches, lay-flat seats with memory foam that cost $2,400 per unit. Each seat is a pod, semi-enclosed, giving passengers privacy without complete isolation. He designed this space thinking about comfort, thinking about rest, thinking about making people feel taken care of. He never imagined he'd be assaulted in it. He moves down the aisle to seat 2B, stores his leather satchel in the overhead bin. The woman across the aisle in 2D is already conducting what looks like a military-grade decontamination operation. Victoria has pulled out an industrial-sized container of antibacterial wipes from her bag, the kind hospitals use, thick and strong, and smelling sharply of chemicals. She's methodically wiping down every surface within reach. The armrests, the tray table, the entertainment screen, the seat belt buckle, the window shade, the air vent controls, the USB charging port, the reading light button. Marcus watches, fascinated in spite of himself, as she uses a total of 7 wipes. Each one is used for a specific area, then discarded with visible disgust into an air sickness bag that's rapidly filling with damp, chemical-smelling paper. She catches him watching. "You would not believe how filthy these planes are," she announces, as if they're mid-conversation, as if Marcus has asked for her opinion. "I read an article that said airplane seats have more bacteria than a public toilet." Marcus nods politely, settling into his seat. "I think modern cleaning protocols are pretty thorough." "Oh, you think?" Her laugh is sharp, like breaking glass. "Well, I don't leave my health to thinking. I know these surfaces are contaminated. Do you know how many people sit in these seats every day? Hundreds, thousands. And who knows what diseases they have." She pulls out another wipe, number 8, and starts on the seat controls again. "I fly first class usually," she continues, not waiting for Marcus to respond, not really talking to him so much as at him. "That cabin is properly maintained. Standards are higher. But they stuck me back here, in business, with..." She waves her hand vaguely, encompassing the entire cabin and everyone in it. "Well, everyone else." Her tone makes it clear what she thinks of everyone else. Lily Thompson appears from the forward galley with her beverage tray. She's 22 years old, white, with blonde hair pulled back in a neat bun. Her uniform is crisp and new, so new that the creases from the packaging are still visible. She can't have been doing this job for more than a few months. Her smile is nervous, uncertain, the smile of someone who's still figuring out if she made the right career choice. "Good morning." Her voice is bright, trying for cheerful. "Welcome aboard. Can I offer you a pre-departure beverage? We have water, orange juice, and sparkling wine." Victoria looks at the tray like Lily is offering her medical waste. "Is that Prosecco?" "Yes, ma'am. It's a lovely Italian Prosecco that we..." "I don't drink Prosecco." Victoria's voice could freeze water. "That's not real champagne. Do you have Dom Pérignon?" Lily's smile flickers, like a candle in wind. "We serve Dom Pérignon after takeoff in business class, ma'am. For pre-departure service, we offer..." "Then I don't want anything." Victoria waves her hand dismissively, the gesture of someone shooing away a fly. "And you should really tell your catering department that Prosecco is what people serve at college parties, not on premium airlines." Lily's face flushes pink, a deep pink that spreads from her cheeks to her neck. I'll make note of that feedback, ma'am." She turns to Marcus, clearly relieved to escape, and her hands are shaking. The glasses on her tray clink together softly. "And for you, sir, just water would be great, Lily. Thank you." Lily blinks, looks surprised. You know my name?" Marcus gestures to her name tag with a smile. "Says it right there. And I appreciate you taking care of everyone this morning. I know it's not easy." "Oh, thank you." She pours his water with hands that shake slightly, still rattled by Victoria's dismissal. When she hands him the glass, her smile is genuine for the first time. "You're welcome, sir." As Lily moves down the aisle, Victoria stage whispers, but it's not really a whisper. It's designed to carry, designed to be heard by several rows. These young flight attendants don't know the first thing about proper service. When I started flying in the 90 being a flight attendant actually meant something. You had to be elegant, sophisticated, multilingual. Now they'll hire anyone. Marcus sips his water and says nothing. But in his head, he's adding another line to his mental report. Passenger 2D demeaning crew members. Creating hostile work environment before takeoff. Young flight attendant, visibly shaken. Monitor closely. 3 rows back, Dr. Sofia Martinez is also taking notes, on her phone, in a text message to her husband Miguel. Stuck on plane, next to most entitled woman I've ever seen. She already insulted the gate agent, hit me with her bag, and now she's trashing the flight attendant. It's going to be a long flight to New York. Pray for me. Miguel texts back immediately. Good luck, mi amor. Try not to commit a murder at 35,000 feet. Call me when you land. Love you. Sophia smiles grimly and puts her phone in airplane mode. If only she knew what was coming. If only any of them knew. David Rivera stands in the forward galley, reading Marcus's message for the 3rd time. 20 years of experience tells him this is going to be bad. You develop an instinct for these things, which passengers will be fine, which will need extra attention, which are ticking time bombs. He's dealt with drunk passengers, aggressive passengers, passengers having panic attacks, passengers trying to smoke in the lavatory, passengers fighting over armrests. Once, memorably, a passenger who tried to open the emergency exit at 30,000 feet because he wanted some fresh air. But there's something about this message. Multiple incidents, verbal hostility, possible discriminatory comments, that makes his stomach tighten. He walks to the entrance, greeting passengers as they board. Smile, eye contact, welcome aboard, make them feel seen. Most people respond to kindness, to feeling noticed. Most people. He watches Victoria through the galley opening. She's settled into 2D now, her decontamination operation complete, her phone out. She's typing furiously, her face set in lines of permanent dissatisfaction. Her lips are pressed into a thin line. Her shoulders are hunched forward. She radiates displeasure like heat from asphalt. Lily approaches him, her tray empty now, her face still flushed. David, she whispers, the woman in 2D. I know. He keeps his voice low, gentle. I got a message about her. How are you doing? I'm okay. But her voice wavers. She's not okay. She was just really rude. I know. And I'm sorry you had to deal with that. He puts a hand on her shoulder, steadying. But you handled it perfectly. Professional. Courteous. You didn't take the bait. That's exactly right. Should I avoid her for the rest of the flight? No. We treat her the same as everyone else. Professional service. But if she becomes abusive, you come get me immediately. Don't try to handle it alone. That's what I'm here for. Lily nods. But she doesn't look reassured. The last passenger's board. The door closes with a heavy thunk. The cabin crew begins their checks. Overhead bins, seat belts, carry-on items stowed, tray tables up, window shades open for takeoff. David makes an announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard Skybridge Airlines, Flight 722, with service to New York's John F. Kennedy International Airport. We'll be in the air for approximately 5 hours and 13 minutes. Please make sure your seats and tray tables are in their upright positions. His voice is calm, professional, giving no hint that he's already on alert, already watching Seat 2D, already preparing for whatever comes next. The aircraft pushes back from the gate. The engines spool up, that distinctive rising whine that signals the beginning of a journey. Outside, the ground crew gives their signals. The pilots run their checklists. Inside business class, Marcus opens his laptop. He has fuel expenditure reports to review. His CFO flagged some concerning trends in the regional routes. Costs are up 7% over projection for the 3rd quarter in a row. He needs to understand why. Across the aisle, Victoria is on her phone, typing an email. Marcus can see her screen reflected in the window. She's composing a message to feedbackskybridgeair.com with the subject line, Appling service on Flight 722. Marcus almost smiles. That email will land in Jennifer Kim's inbox within the hour. Jennifer will flag it as high priority because of the aggressive language. By tomorrow morning, it will be on his desk along with the full passenger profile, flight recorder data, and crew incident reports. Sometimes, karma has a paper trail. The aircraft taxis toward the runway. Out the window, the sprawl of Los Angeles disappears behind them. The buildings, the highways, the palm trees looking small and toy-like from this perspective. Marcus tries to focus on his reports, tries to review the numbers, but his attention keeps drifting to the woman across the aisle, to the tension in Lily's shoulders every time she has to walk past 2D, to the way David keeps glancing toward this section of the cabin. He's built this airline on the principle that people deserve respect. Employees and passengers both. He's fought hard to create a culture where crew members feel supported, where they're not expected to absorb abuse as part of the job description. He's about to discover just how hard he's willing to fight for that principle. The aircraft reaches the runway, turns, pauses, then the engines roar, and Flight 722 lifts into the sky, climbing fast and steep, Los Angeles falling away below. At 35,000 feet, there's nowhere to run. At 35,000 feet, there's nowhere to hide. At 35,000 feet, everyone's true character becomes visible. The flight has begun. Part 3. Onboard escalation. Building to the assault. The seatbelt sign chimes off with a soft ding at exactly 11:24 a.m., 11 minutes into the flight. The Airbus A321neo has reached cruising altitude of 35,000 feet. The engines settle into steady rhythm. Outside the windows, the desert spreads below, vast and brown and ancient. Marcus pulls his laptop onto his tray table. The fuel expenditure spreadsheet loads, numbers and charts and trend lines that should have his full attention. But he can't focus. The woman across the aisle is making it impossible. Victoria has finished her decontamination and moved on to a new project, complaining about the cabin temperature. Excuse me. She hits the call button. Ding. Excuse me. Lily appears from the galley, her smile already showing strain. Yes, ma'am. How can I help you? It's freezing in here. I asked them to adjust the temperature before we took off, and clearly nobody listened. I'm sorry you're cold, ma'am. I can get you a blanket. I don't want a blanket. I want the temperature fixed. It feels like a meat locker. Marcus glances at the climate controls. The cabin is set to 72 degrees Fahrenheit, industry standard, comfortable for most passengers. He's actually slightly warm in his polo shirt. I'll speak with the captain about adjusting it, ma'am, Lily says, her voice careful. In the meantime, can I bring you a blanket, or did you hear what I said? I don't want a blanket. Of course, ma'am. I'll see what I can do about the temperature. Lily hurries away. Victoria watches her go, then looks across the aisle at Marcus. Service has really gone downhill, she announces. To him, to the cabin, to anyone listening. They hire these young girls right out of high school and expect them to know what they're doing. No training, no standards. Marcus doesn't respond. He's learned that some people aren't looking for conversation, they're looking for an audience. Victoria keeps going. I've been flying for 25 years. Back in the 90 seconds, you had to be special to be a flight attendant. Elegant, sophisticated, multiple languages. Now, she waves her hand dismissively. Now they'll take anyone. In row 5, a businessman in a Harvard Law hoodie, James Porter, 31, white, on his way to a deposition, looks up from his tablet. He's been half listening. He exchanges a glance with his seatmate, an older woman reading a Kindle. The glance says, "Is this woman serious?" But neither of them says anything. It's easier not to, safer not to. 5 hours is a long time to be stuck next to someone hostile. David Rivera appears with a blanket anyway. He's brought the premium one, cashmere blend, soft and warm, a peace offering. Miss Whitmore, I brought you our premium blanket in case you'd like it while I check on the temperature situation. Victoria takes it without thanks, examines it. This is cashmere blend? Yes, ma'am. She sets it aside. I suppose it'll do. David nods and retreats. Marcus watches this entire exchange. He's taking mental notes, yes, but he's also feeling something else. Something that's building in his chest, like pressure. He's thinking about Lily, 22 years old, new to this job, trying her best. He's thinking about how many times she'll face passengers like this in her career. How many times she'll have to smile and apologize for things that aren't her fault. How many times she'll go home and wonder if she made a mistake choosing this job. He's thinking about David, 20 years of experience, bringing a cashmere blanket to someone who can't even say thank you. He's thinking about the culture he's tried so hard to build at Skybridge, a culture where dignity matters, where respect flows in all directions, where the position someone holds doesn't determine their worth as a human being. And he's thinking about how one person, one passenger, can poison an entire cabin with their entitlement. But he also knows he can't reveal himself yet. Not yet. He needs the full pattern. He needs witnesses. He needs the moment to be undeniable. So he goes back to his spreadsheet, or tries to. At 11:47 a.m., 34 minutes into the flight, Victoria discovers the Wi-Fi. Or rather, she discovers that the Wi-Fi isn't meeting her standards. This is unacceptable. Her voice cuts through the cabin like an alarm. Several passengers look up. Marcus closes his laptop, knowing what's coming. Victoria is holding her phone in the air, like she's trying to catch a signal. Her face is twisted in frustration. The Wi-Fi, she announces to no one in particular, is completely unusable. Lily hurries over. Of course it's Lily. David is in the back dealing with a family that needs help with a baby carrier. I'm so sorry, ma'am. Is your connection not working? Oh, it's working. Victoria's voice drips with sarcasm. It's just slower than dial-up in 1995. I'm trying to download a 20-megabyte presentation file, and it's been sitting at 3% for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. For 20 megabytes. I'm very sorry about that, ma'am. We're currently flying over a rural area of Arizona, so the satellite connection can be... I don't want excuses. Victoria cuts her off. The words are sharp, cutting, final. I want solutions. I have a presentation to finish for a meeting tomorrow morning that could make or break a $15 million deal. Do you understand what $15 million means? Lily clasps her hands together. Her knuckles are white. I understand it's frustrating, ma'am. Sometimes the connection improves as we get closer to populated. So what you're telling me is that your airline sold me a Wi-Fi package for $29.95, promising high-speed internet, and you can't actually deliver that service? The package does say that speeds can vary depending on... I want a refund, and I want it now. Of course, ma'am. I can process that for you. Let me just get... And I want compensation for my time. Victoria leans forward. Her eyes are hard. I'm billing this project at $850 an hour. That's $16 per minute. I've wasted 12 minutes trying to download this file. That's $169.92 in lost productivity. Will the airline be compensating me for that? The entire business class cabin has gone silent now. Everyone is listening. Some are openly staring. A woman in row 8 has lowered her magazine. A man in row 6 has taken out his headphones. Lily's eyes widen. She's 22 years old. She makes $24 an hour. Someone is demanding $169.92 for 12 minutes of inconvenience. And she's supposed to know how to respond to that. I'm not authorized to. I would need to speak with the purser about... Then get the purser. Obviously, you're not equipped to handle this situation. Lily practically runs toward the galley. Marcus can see her blinking rapidly, fighting tears. She disappears behind the curtain. Victoria settles back in her seat, satisfied. She's made her point, put someone in their place, asserted her importance. Meanwhile, 40 rows back in economy, Jake Mitchell has been recording everything. His TikTok live stream is active, phone propped against the seat in front of him. Chat, this woman has been going off on the flight attendants for like 30 minutes now, he whispers into the camera. This is absolutely wild. She's demanding almost $200 for slow Wi-Fi. I'm getting all of it. His live stream viewer count, 847, 1,200, 1,900. Comments flooding in. This is insane. Someone needs to check this lady. That poor flight attendant, OMG. Where is this flight? I need updates. This better go viral. Jake's follower count jumps. 12,000, 13,400, 15,100. He doesn't fully understand what's happening yet, but his phone is heating up from notifications. Something about this is resonating. People are sharing the stream. David emerges from the galley. He's composed, professional. 20 years of experience shows in the way he walks. Steady, calm, in control. He approaches Victoria's seat with the bearing of someone who's dealt with much worse than this. Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm David Rivera, the head purser. I understand there's an issue with the Wi-Fi service? There's an issue with your entire operation, Victoria shoots back. She doesn't even look at him fully, just glances up, then back at her phone. I paid for premium service, and I'm receiving bargain basement quality. I completely understand your frustration. David's voice is professional but firm. He's not Lily. He's not new. He's not going to be steamrolled. I'll personally process a full refund for your Wi-Fi package immediately. However, I do want to explain that our satellite connectivity is dependent on. I don't need a lecture on how satellite internet works. Victoria finally looks at him fully. Her expression is withering. I need it to work. Period. David nods slowly. I understand. I'll note your feedback in our flight report. In the meantime, is there anything else I can do to make your flight more comfortable? You can upgrade me to first class where I belong. Unfortunately, first class is completely full today. Then find me a seat. Ask someone to move. Offer them compensation. Do something other than standing here making excuses. David's jaw tightens, just for a second, just a tiny flex of muscle, but he keeps his voice level. Ma'am, all passengers have confirmed seats that they've purchased or been assigned. I can't ask someone to give up their seat, but I can offer you complimentary beverages during the flight. And I don't want free drinks. I want competence. Marcus has heard enough. He stands up, slowly, casually, like he's just stretching his legs after sitting too long. He walks the few steps to where David is standing. Excuse me, he says quietly to David. Do you need anything from the cabin? I noticed the water pitchers might need refilling. It's a lifeline. A reason for David to step away from this confrontation without losing face, without having to continue absorbing abuse. David catches on immediately. Actually, yes. Thank you for mentioning that. I'll take care of that right away. He looks at Victoria. Ma'am, I'll be back shortly with your Wi-Fi refund confirmation. Please let me know if you need anything else. He walks toward the galley, and Marcus hears him take a long, slow breath once he's out of Victoria's line of sight. A breath that says he's been doing this job for too long to let passengers like this get under his skin. But God, sometimes it's hard. Marcus returns to his seat. Victoria is staring at him now. Her eyes are narrowed, calculating. Do you always insert yourself into other people's conversations? She asks. Just trying to help, Marcus replies evenly. Well, maybe you should mind your own business. Marcus opens his laptop without responding. Back in economy, Jake's stream explodes. Viewer count: 3,400, 5,900, 8,200. This is getting good. That passenger who stood up is a king. Someone please tell me what airline this is. I need this woman's name for when she gets fired. This has consequences, incoming energy. Jake whispers to his camera. Guys, I don't know who that man is who just helped the flight attendant, but that was smooth. This whole situation is unhinged. Stay with me. I think it's about to get worse. He has no idea how right he is. Victoria pulls out her phone and begins typing furiously. Her manicured nails click against the screen like tiny hammers. Click, click, click. Marcus can see her screen reflected in the window. She's composing an email. 2. feedback@skybridgeair.com. Subject: Appalling service on Flight 722. I am writing to express my complete disgust with the service on today's flight. The Wi-Fi is non-functional, the flight attendants are incompetent and poorly trained, and the purser was condescending and unhelpful when I raised legitimate concerns. I have been a Platinum Executive member for 5 years, and I have never experienced such poor service. Marcus reads it in the window's reflection. He almost smiles. That email will be on his desk tomorrow. Along with everything else, he goes back to his fuel reports. But the internet is already moving faster than the aircraft. At 12:43 p.m., 1 hour and 34 minutes into the flight, the meal service begins. Lily pushes the heavy cart down the aisle. It's loaded with the business class lunch options: seared salmon with asparagus, truffle pasta with mushrooms, or a Mediterranean quinoa bowl. The smells waft through the cabin. Garlic, lemon, fresh bread. She stops at Marcus's seat first. Mr. Bellamy, for your meal today we have seared salmon, truffle pasta, or the Mediterranean quinoa bowl. The salmon sounds great, Lily. Thank you. And just a bottle of still water, please. Right away, sir. She smiles. Genuinely smiles. Relieved by his simple politeness, his lack of demands, his use of her name. She's reaching for the salmon entree when Victoria's hand shoots out across the aisle. Excuse me. Excuse me. Lily nearly drops the tray. Yes, ma'am? I've been waiting for my vodka soda for 10 minutes, and he gets served first? Unbelievable. I'm so sorry, Miss Whitmore. I was just taking his meal order. I'm coming right to you. No, you'll come to me first. Victoria's voice is rising, getting louder. I'm in 2D. He's in 2B. The alphabet goes CD before AB, doesn't it? Or did they stop teaching that in school? Lily's face flushes. Ma'am, I'm serving this row, and then I'll take your... Are you seriously arguing with me about this? Several passengers are watching now. A woman in row 7 lowers her book. A man in row 4 takes off his headphones. James Porter, the Harvard law attorney, sits up straighter, his attorney instincts suddenly alert. He pulls out his phone, starts recording discreetly. David appears. He's been monitoring from the galley. Is everything all right here? No, everything is not all right. Victoria gestures at Lily. She's prioritizing him over me, and I've been waiting for my drink for 10 minutes. I apologize for the wait, ma'am. We'll get your vodka soda right away. Lily, why don't you let me help Miss Whitmore while you continue with the meal service? Fine. Victoria crosses her arms. But I want it noted that I've had to wait an unacceptable amount of time. It's noted, ma'am. David's voice is calm, professional. But there's steel underneath. What would you like to drink? Vodka soda. Top shelf. And I want real vodka, not well vodka. Of course. Would you prefer Grey Goose or Belvedere? Grey Goose, with lime. And make sure there's enough ice. Last time the ice was melting before you even served it. I'll make sure it's perfect, ma'am. David retreats to the galley. Prepares the drink with deliberate care. Grey goose, measured pour, fresh lime, ice filled to the top. He delivers it with a smile that doesn't quite reach his eyes. Victoria takes it, examines it like a laboratory specimen, takes a sip, makes a face. This is warm. The ice is already melting. Make another one. David's jaw tightens, but he keeps his voice level. Of course, ma'am. He takes the drink back, returns to the galley. Makes a second one, this time with even more ice, the glass so cold it's sweating. He delivers it quickly, before any ice can melt. Victoria takes it without thanks. Takes another sip. Says nothing. David waits for a moment. Is that better, ma'am? It's acceptable. David walks away. Marcus watches this entire exchange. He's no longer even pretending to work on his laptop. He's just watching, documenting mentally, building his case. But he's also feeling something deeper than professional analysis. He's feeling the weight of his own history, Marcus's internal thoughts. He's heard these words before. Different versions, different contexts, same poison. He was 12 when a teacher told him he only got into the gifted program because of quotas. He was 19 when a Stanford classmate suggested his scholarship was affirmative action, not merit. He was 26 when a Wall Street colleague asked if he was really qualified for the promotion or if the firm was just checking boxes. He's 48 now. Successful, powerful, wealthy beyond what that teacher or that classmate or that colleague ever imagined. And he's still hearing the same words, still being told he doesn't belong, still being questioned about whether he earned his place. The difference is, now he has the power to respond. The question is, when? He watches Victoria, watches her perform her superiority for an audience, watches passengers look away, uncomfortable but silent, watches Lily's shoulders hunch every time Victoria speaks. Not yet, he thinks. Let her show everyone exactly who she is. Let the pattern be undeniable. He waits. Patient. Strategic. Victoria finishes her second vodka soda at 1:15 p.m., 2 hours and 6 minutes into the flight. The alcohol has loosened something in her, made her bolder, made her say the quiet parts loud. The passenger next to her, a businessman in his 52nds, white, desperately trying to sleep with an eye mask, shifts in his seat, clearly bothered by her energy. Victoria doesn't notice, or doesn't care. She looks around the cabin with an expression of distaste. Then, loud enough to be heard by several rows, she says, "Flying used to be an event, you know. People dressed up. It was exclusive, special." The businessman doesn't respond, doesn't even acknowledge her. Victoria keeps going, her voice getting louder. Now they just let any riff-raff into premium cabins. It's a real shame. Standards have completely declined. She's looking at Marcus when she says it, looking directly at him in his polo shirt and jeans. Marcus doesn't look up from his laptop. He's reviewing an email from his COO about the Denver hub expansion, or pretending to. The words aren't really registering. I mean, look around, Victoria continues, gesturing broadly. This USED to be exclusive. Now it's like riding the subway. Anyone with a credit card can get in here. They have all these programs now. Diversity quotas, affirmative action. She practically spits the words, just giving away seats to people who didn't earn them. 3 rows back, Dr. Sophia Martinez stops reading her medical journal. She's been half listening to this woman's complaints for 2 hours now. The temperature, the Wi-Fi, the drinks, the service. And now this. She pulls out her phone discreetly, starts recording. James Porter in row 5 is already recording. He's dealt with enough discrimination cases to recognize what's happening. This isn't just complaining. This is harassment. And it's about to cross a line. Victoria is still talking, emboldened by her audience. Or perhaps by the silence, which she mistakes for agreement. I'm just saying, there are reasons why certain neighborhoods have higher crime rates, and those same people think they can just come into spaces like this, She gestures around business class, and nobody's supposed to notice the decline in standards. A woman in row 6 shifts uncomfortably. The teenage girl in row 8 mouths to her mother. Is she serious right now? I work hard for my money. Victoria continues. I earned my place here. I'm tired of being told I'm privileged when I'm just reaping the rewards of good choices. Unlike, she glances at Marcus, other people who take shortcuts. Marcus closes his laptop. Slowly, the sound of it clicking shut is loud. He looks across the aisle at Victoria. She meets his eyes and smiles. I'm just saying what everyone's thinking, she says. To him, to the cabin, to anyone listening. Some people belong in spaces like this, and some people don't. You can always tell when they're doing those hiring quotas. The service quality just drops. They hire people who don't understand excellence, don't understand what premium means. It's diversity for diversity's sake, and we all suffer for it. The cabin is silent now. Even the engine noise seems quieter. Everyone is watching, waiting. Marcus's voice, when it comes, is very quiet, very calm. And who decides who belongs, Miss Whitmore? She blinks, surprised that he's engaged, surprised that he knows her name. People who can afford it, people who earned it, people who don't need special programs or handouts. And you think I didn't earn my seat? I think... She pauses, choosing her words carefully, but the alcohol and the anger make her reckless. I think you probably got bumped up, complained to corporate, played some card. I think people like you are very good at working the system, very good at claiming discrimination when you just don't meet standards. Dr. Martinez gasps, audibly, sharply. The businessman next to Victoria rips off his eye mask, suddenly wide awake and horrified. James Porter's phone captures everything. In economy, Jake's live stream is exploding. Viewer count, 12,000, 19,000, 31,000. Comments scrolling faster than anyone can read. Did she just say that? Oh, she's done. This is the most racist thing I've ever seen. Somebody do something. Where are the air marshals? This cannot be real. Jake whispers urgently into his camera. Guys. This woman just went full racist. I'm shaking. This is insane. I can't even. Stay with me. This is about to blow up. David Rivera comes striding down the aisle. His face is hard. His voice is steel. Ma'am, I need you to stop talking. Right now. Victoria looks at him with surprise bordering on indignation. Excuse me? You're being verbally abusive to other passengers. That's unacceptable. If you continue, I will have to contact the captain, and we will have law enforcement meet this aircraft. Oh, so now I can't even express my opinion? This is America. I have freedom of speech. Not on my aircraft. You don't. David's voice is quiet but carries complete authority. You are creating a hostile environment. You will stop immediately, or there will be consequences. You'll what? Victoria stands up. She's angry now. Really angry. The kind of angry that's been building for 2 hours, fueled by perceived slights and alcohol and the absolute certainty that she's right and everyone else is wrong. Her hand is on the armrest. Her drink, her third vodka soda, the one David brought 20 minutes ago, sits on her tray table. Everything happens in slow motion. Marcus sees her fingers close around the cup. He sees the rage in her eyes crystallize into action. He sees her arm pull back. He thinks, here it comes. And then, part 4. The assault. The pivotal moment. The vodka soda explodes across Marcus Bellamy's face. Ice cubes strike his cheek. Cold, hard, deliberate. One hits just below his eye with enough force to sting. Another catches his neck, slides down inside his collar, melting against his skin in a line of shocking cold. The liquid soaks through his navy polo shirt in an instant, spreading dark and wet across his chest, his shoulder, his lap. The smell hits him. Vodka, sharp and chemical. Lime, melted ice water. The smell of humiliation delivered publicly. For exactly 3 seconds, Marcus counts them. Nobody moves. 73 passengers in business class are frozen. A woman in row 5 has a champagne flute halfway to her lips, suspended there, forgotten. A man in row 3 has stopped mid-keystroke on his laptop, fingers hovering over keys, his mouth slightly open. A teenager in row 8 stares with wide eyes. The baby in row 11 stops crying. That's how silent it is. Victoria Whitmore stands in the aisle. Her hand is still extended. The empty plastic cup dangles from her manicured fingers. Her chest heaves, up and down, with exertion, with rage, with satisfaction. Her face is flushed. Her eyes are bright. She looks triumphant. She sets the cup down on her tray table. The small clink of plastic on plastic is loud in the silence. "That's where trash belongs," she says. Her voice carries through the cabin. Every syllable clear, every word deliberate. Marcus Bellamy sits perfectly still, in seat 2B. Vodka drips from his beard onto the leather armrest. Drip, drip, drip. Each drop a small sound in the vast silence. His navy polo shirt clings to his chest, soaked through, dark and heavy. Ice cubes rest in his lap, melting slowly, spreading the wetness across his jeans. His face is wet. His beard is dripping. His shirt is ruined. He doesn't wipe his face. He doesn't move. He just looks at her. His eyes, kind eyes with laugh lines at the corners, are locked on Victoria's face. He's watching her moment of triumph, watching her satisfaction, watching her think she's won. Behind him, phones lift. The spell breaks. Recording lights blink red across rows 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Dozens of red lights, like eyes, like witnesses. Someone gasps, a sharp intake of breath that sounds like shock, like disbelief, like horror. "Oh my God," someone whispers. "Bro, BRO, that literally just happened." The young woman in row 7, her voice breaking. "I cannot even process right now. This is giving main character energy gone so wrong." Her friend adds, phone already recording. "In all my years flying, the businessman in row 5 says to no one in particular, I have never seen anything like this." A college student recording from row 6. "Chat, are you seeing this? This is literally insane. Like, actually insane." Jake Mitchell in economy whispers into his live stream. "For everyone just joining, yes, this is real. Yes, she really threw a drink at this man. Yes, I'm getting all of it. This is the wildest flight I've ever been on, and I once saw a guy try to open the emergency exit. His viewer count, 47,000, and climbing like a rocket. Flight attendant Lily Thompson stands frozen in the galley, her serving tray trembling in her hands. The glasses on the tray clink together, soft sounds, like wind chimes, because her hands won't stop shaking. Tears run down her face, cutting clean lines through her makeup. David Rivera's hand goes to his radio. His voice is calm, the kind of calm that comes from 20 years of training, from handling emergencies at 35,000 feet, from knowing that panic helps no one. "Captain, this is Rivera. We have a code red in business class. Passenger assault. I need you to contact ATC immediately and request law enforcement meet the aircraft on arrival. Federal assault, interference with flight crew. Priority response." The captain's voice crackles back. "Copy that, David. Contacting ATC now. Are you and the crew safe? For now, yes. Passenger is contained but hostile. I'm restraining her now. Understood. We're landing in 47 minutes. Can you maintain until then?" "Affirmative." And Victoria just smiles. She sits back down in seat 2D. crosses her legs, smooths her cream pantsuit, picks up her phone like nothing happened. Then she says, to the cabin at large, to everyone watching, well, maybe now he'll learn some manners. That's when Marcus finally moves. Marcus reaches up, slowly, so slowly, and wipes the vodka from his eyes with the back of his hand. The liquid burns slightly. Or maybe that's just the humiliation, or maybe that's just rage, controlled and cold. He pulls a napkin from the seat pocket, drees his beard with careful, deliberate movements, pats his shirt, pointless, it's soaked through, but the motion gives him something to do with his hands, something other than what he wants to do. He brushes the ice cubes from his lap onto the floor. They scatter, roll. One slides down the aisle. Then he looks directly at Victoria Whitmore, and he speaks. 6 words. I own this airline. His voice is quiet, deadly quiet, so quiet that passengers 3 rows away lean forward to hear, pressing against seatbelts, straining to catch every syllable. Victoria blinks. Her smile flickers, wavers. What? Marcus doesn't raise his voice, doesn't need to. The silence in the cabin amplifies every word. Skybridge Airlines. I built it. That's my company. He pauses. Lets it sink in. These are my planes. That's my crew you've been abusing for the past 2 hours. Victoria's face, flushed with satisfaction just seconds ago, drains of color, goes from pink to pale to ashen in less than 3 seconds. Her mouth opens, closes, opens again. You're lying. Marcus reaches into his leather satchel, the one she dismissed as cheap and worn, the one she assumed meant he couldn't afford anything better. He pulls out a business card, sets it on the armrest between them. The card is simple, elegant, white with navy lettering. Marcus J. Bellamy, founder and chief executive officer, Skybridge Airlines. Victoria stares at it like it's a live snake. Her hand reaches out, trembling now, and picks it up. She reads it again. Her lips move, forming the words silently. Her face goes from ashen to green. You wanted to know if I belonged in business class? Marcus continues. His voice is still quiet, still controlled. But there's steel underneath now, steel wrapped in silk. He gestures around the cabin, at the seats, the pods, the ambient lighting, the graphite surfaces. I designed these seats. I chose this fabric. I selected this lighting. I hired this crew. He stands up, slowly. Vodka still drips from his shirt, pattering onto the floor. I own every seat on this plane. He looks down at her. And you, Miss Whitmore, just committed a federal assault on the CEO of this airline, on camera, with 73 witnesses. The cabin erupts. The silence shatters like glass. Passengers start talking all at once, a wave of sound that crashes over the cabin like storm surf. Holy shit, did that just happen? He owns the airline? She's done. She is so done. I got it all on video. Oh my God. This is insane. Dr. Sophia Martinez stands up in her seat, phone still recording. I'm a physician, she calls out, her voice cutting through the chaos. I'm willing to provide a witness statement. That was assault. Clear, deliberate assault. James Porter stands too. I'm an attorney with Morrison and Blake in New York. I witnessed everything. I'll testify if needed. A woman in row 7. I recorded it. I have the whole thing. A man in row 4. Me too. From 2 different angles. The teenager in row 8. Eyes wide. My whole TikTok saw it live. Like, thousands of people watched that happen in real time. And Jake Mitchell's phone is on fire. His live stream viewer count is climbing so fast the numbers blur. 47,000, 68,000, 94,000, 127,000. The comments are a waterfall of reaction. You He owns the airline. She's going to prison. This is the best thing I've ever seen. Instant karma. Someone call the FBI. I cannot breathe. This is amazing. Career over. Get absolutely wrecked. Jake's follower count jumps in real time on his screen. 23,000, 31,000, 47,000. His phone is overheating. Notifications flooding in faster than the app can display them. He whispers urgently into his camera. Chat. Chat. This is... I don't even have words. The man she threw a drink at owns the airline. I'm shaking. This is the most insane thing I've ever witnessed. This is going to be everywhere. We're watching someone's life end in real time. Someone in row 6 taps his seatmate. Dude, this is already on Twitter. Someone posted it to Reddit. It's everywhere. How is that possible? We're on a plane. People are downloading and reposting. It's viral. Like, viral. Victoria is still sitting in her seat, frozen. Her mouth opens and closes, but no sound comes out. She looks at the business card in her hand, at Marcus's soaked shirt, at the phones recording her from every angle. I didn't. You can't. Her voice is small now. All the confidence gone. All the entitlement evaporated. She sounds like a child caught doing something terrible. I didn't know. Didn't know what? Marcus's voice is still quiet. Still calm. Didn't know you shouldn't assault people. Didn't know you shouldn't harass flight attendants. Didn't know you shouldn't make racist comments. He pauses. Or didn't know that the person you were harassing might actually matter. That lands hard. Victoria's face crumples. David Rivera steps forward with a set of flex cuffs, the heavy-duty plastic restraints that flight attendants carry for exactly this kind of situation. Ma'am, I need you to stand up and put your hands behind your back. What? No. No. Victoria's voice rises, hysteria creeping in. I didn't do anything wrong. He provoked me. Man, there are 73 witnesses who saw you throw a drink in this man's face. Multiple video recordings from multiple angles. Please stand up now, or I will be forced to call for additional assistance. I want a lawyer. I'm not saying anything without a lawyer. That's your right, ma'am. But you still need to comply with crew member instructions. Federal law. Stand up. Now. Victoria stands on trembling legs. The cream pantsuit that looked so expensive, so professional, so powerful 2 hours ago now looks rumpled, stained with vodka where she splashed herself. Her ponytail is coming undone. Her makeup is smudged. David secures her wrists with the flex cuffs. The plastic zip sound is loud in the cabin, that distinctive Z-I-I-I-app, followed by the click of the lock engaging. This is insane. Victoria's voice is getting higher, more desperate. You can't do this to me. Do you know who I am? I'm a senior consultant at Reynolds & Drake. We represent Fortune 500 companies. You'll be sued for this. Marcus pulls out his phone. It's slightly damp from the vodka, but it works. He wipes the screen on his jeans and pulls up his contacts. Scrolls, taps. The phone rings twice. Marcus? A woman's voice, crisp, professional, worried. Jennifer Kim's voice. Are you okay? We just got an emergency alert from Flight 722's systems. Jennifer, I'm fine. Listen to me carefully. I need you to do 3 things. Can you write this down? I'm ready. What happened? I was assaulted. On Flight 722. By a passenger in seat 2D. Silence on the other end. Then, you were what? Assaulted. She threw her drink in my face. It's all on video. Multiple angles, multiple witnesses. I need you to move fast. Oh my God. Marcus, Jennifer, focus. 3 things. Are you ready? He can hear her taking a breath, steadying herself. Yes, I'm ready. First, Contact our legal team immediately. Tell them I was assaulted on Flight 722 by passenger Victoria Whitmore in Seat 2D. I want federal charges filed the moment we land. Assault on the CEO of an airline. Interference with flight crew operations. Creating a disturbance on an aircraft. Full prosecution. No plea deals. Done. What else? Second, pull her complete passenger profile. Victoria Whitmore. Whitmore. I want to know everything. Where she works. Who she works for. Her entire complaint history with us. Every interaction. Every flight. Everything. He hears typing. Fast. Efficient. Got it. Reynolds and Drake Consulting, Senior VP, Frequent Flyer, Platinum Executive Status, 347,000 lifetime miles. More typing. Then, oh, wow. What? Marcus. She has 23 formal complaints filed against our flight attendants. 23. Over the past 3 years. Marcus's jaw tightens. He can feel the muscle jumping. And she still had platinum status? Our system shows the complaints but doesn't automatically revoke status unless there's a criminal incident or she trails off. Well, Marcus says quietly, now there is. Which brings me to number 3. I'm listening. Lifetime ban. System-wide. I want her profile flagged in every database we have. Skybridge, and I want you to coordinate with our partner airlines. She will never fly Skybridge again. Ever. And if I have anything to say about it, she'll have trouble flying anywhere. Consider it done. Marcus, are you sure you're okay? I'm fine. But Jennifer? The crew handled this perfectly. David and Lily especially. Make sure they know that. Make sure it's in their files. Commendations, bonuses, whatever it takes. Absolutely. We're tracking the flight. Landing in 42 minutes. Federal agents will be waiting. Good. I'll call you when we land. He ends the call. Victoria has heard every word. Her face is the color of old paper. Gray. Lifeless. You can't ban me. I fly every week. My job requires travel. I have clients in New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Miami. Should have thought of that before you assaulted me. But I didn't know. Didn't know what? That I was the CEO? Marcus looks at her. Really looks at her. Would it have mattered? Would you have treated me differently if you'd known? Or would you have just been more careful about who was watching? She doesn't answer. Can't answer. That's what I thought, Marcus says quietly. The captain's voice comes over the PA system. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Captain Morrison speaking from the flight deck. I want to apologize for the disturbance in the cabin. We take passenger and crew safety extremely seriously. We have contacted law enforcement, and they will be meeting our aircraft upon arrival in New York. We will be landing at JFK in approximately 42 minutes. Thank you for your patience and understanding. The cabin is still buzzing with energy. Passengers are talking, texting, posting. The viral moment is spreading across the internet in real time. A woman in row 8 leans across the aisle to her husband. I am never complaining about slow Wi-Fi again. A teenager in row 6. Mom, you are not going to believe what just happened on my flight. Jake Mitchell's final live stream update. Viewer count. 183,000. He whispers into camera. Guys, this has been the most insane flight of my life. The video is everywhere. It's on Twitter, Reddit, Instagram, everywhere. This woman's life is over, and it's all because she thought she could treat people like garbage. Remember this moment. Remember that your actions have consequences. And remember to be kind to service workers because you never know who you're talking to. I'm signing off. Stay safe out there, chat. He ends the stream. But the damage is done. Victoria Whitmore's life is becoming very, very public. And there's nothing she can do to stop it. Part 5. The corporate strike. Marcus's strategic response. The cabin has settled into an uneasy quiet. Victoria sits in 2D with her hands zip-tied behind her back, her head down, no longer making eye contact with anyone. David stands nearby, not threatening, just present, watchful. Marcus returns to his seat. His shirt is still wet. He can feel the vodka drying sticky on his skin. Ice water has soaked through to his boxer briefs. He's uncomfortable, cold, aware of the stares from other passengers, but he's also calculating. His phone rings. Jennifer calling back. "Talk to me," he says. "Marcus, I've been digging into Victoria Whitmore's file." Jennifer's voice is tight, angry. "It's worse than I thought." "How bad?" "Those 23 complaints? They're all from crew members. Flight attendants, gate agents, customer service reps, all describing the same pattern: verbal abuse, unrealistic demands, racist comments. There are 3 separate incidents where she demanded crew members be fired for minor issues. And nobody flagged this? The system flags it, but there's no automatic action. We need a critical incident to trigger a review. Most passengers never reach that threshold until they throw a drink in someone's face." "Right." Jennifer pauses. "Marcus, there's more. I pulled her social media, her Twitter, her LinkedIn, her Instagram. There's a pattern there too." "What kind of pattern?" "She posts a lot about business travel, about being elite, about having status, and she makes comments about other passengers, people who don't belong in premium cabins, people who probably can't afford their seats. It's coded, but the meaning is clear." Marcus closes his eyes. He's not surprised, just disappointed. Always disappointed when people's prejudices are so predictable. "Send me everything. I want the full file, every complaint, every interaction, every social media post. Our legal team will need it. Already compiling it." "Marcus, I have to ask, are you sure you want to go full prosecution on this? She's about to lose her job. Her reputation is destroyed. The video is everywhere. Isn't that enough?" Marcus thinks about Lily's face, about the way her hands shook, about how many times she'll have to tell this story, relive this moment, justify her professionalism to people who weren't there. He thinks about David, 20 years of service, having to absorb abuse from passengers who see him as a servant. He thinks about Dr. Martinez, exhausted from a 36-hour shift, getting hit with luggage and dismissed as an obstacle. "No," he says quietly, "it's not enough. Because next time it'll be someone else. Someone without a business card. Someone who can't call law enforcement. Someone who just has to take it." "Okay," Jennifer says. "Then we go all in. We go all in." He's about to hang up when Jennifer says, "Marcus, one more thing." "What?" "Her employer, Reynolds and Drake. They're one of our vendor partners. They do consulting work for us. Route optimization, operational efficiency analysis. We have a $2 million contract with them." Marcus is quiet for a long moment. Then, "Pull up the contract. Find the termination clauses. I want to know our options." "You're thinking of canceling?" "I'm thinking that I don't do business with companies that employ people who commit hate crimes on my aircraft. See what our legal exposure is. I'll have it within the hour." They hang up. Marcus sits in his damp shirt, thinking, planning. The chess pieces are moving in his mind. He's not acting on emotion. That would be easy, satisfying, and ultimately less effective. He's acting strategically, systematically. He's going to make sure this matters. While Marcus strategizes, the internet is moving at lightning speed. Jake Mitchell's TikTok video has gone from viral to supernova. Current statistics, 2:15 p.m. EST. Views, 4.8 million. Shares, 1 million. Comments, 247,000. The video has been downloaded, re-uploaded, shared across every platform. It's on Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, Facebook, LinkedIn. It's being discussed on cable news. It's trending in 12 countries. The hashtag #SkyBridge drink incident is the #1 trending topic on Twitter in the United States, above #World Series, above #breaking news, above everything. Screenshots from the video are being turned into memes. Image: Victoria's face, frozen in her moment of throwing the drink. Caption: Point of view: You're about to destroy your entire career in 3 seconds. Image: Marcus's calm face, vodka dripping. Caption: When you're the CEO but you let them keep talking so they can tell on themselves. Image: Victoria's shocked face when he reveals who he is. Caption: That moment when you realize you're the main character of your own horror story. Reddit is having a field day. Anti-work thread. CEO experiences discrimination on his own airline, handles it perfectly. 67,000 upvotes. 11,200 comments. Top comment: This is how you use power. Not to lord it over people, but to protect the ones who can't protect themselves. The way he waited until she'd fully exposed herself before revealing who he was. Chef's kiss. He let her tell on herself. Absolute legend. Bye-bye job thread. Racist consultant assaults. Airline CEO on camera. Career ending in real time. 89,000 upvotes. 18,000 comments. Top comment: I cannot wait for the follow-up on this. I want to know where she works. I want to know if she gets arrested. I want to know if she ever flies again. I need updates. This is the justice content I live for. Justice served thread. Woman throws drink at black man she assumes is poor. He owns the airline. 124,000 upvotes. 23,000 comments. Top comment: The beautiful thing is, he didn't have to tell her. He could have pressed charges without revealing who he was, but he wanted her to know. He wanted that moment of realization, that moment where she understands exactly how badly she fucked up. Absolute power move. I'm here for it. News outlets have identified Victoria. Internet detectives worked fast. Her LinkedIn profile has been screenshot and shared 147,000 times. The comments on her professional posts are brutal. This you throwing drinks on planes? How's that platinum status working out for you now? Tell me you're privileged without telling me you're privileged. Oh wait, you just showed us. Imagine being so racist you assault your own CEO LMAO. Her company bio on the Reynolds and Drake website is being archived by internet sleuths before the company can take it down. Too late. Screenshots are everywhere. Her professional headshot, blonde, smiling, confident, photographed against a neutral grey background, is now synonymous with entitlement and racism. Twitter user, civil rights lawyer posts. For those asking, yes, this is likely federal assault. 49 USC 46506. Interference with flight crew 49 USC 46504. And depending on what she said, and there's video, possibly a hate crime enhancement. She's looking at serious prison time. This is not a joke. #SkyBridge drink incident. The tweet gets 394,000 likes. 127,000 retweets. CBS News posts a clip from their 3 p.m. broadcast. Anchor. We're following breaking news out of Los Angeles, where a SkyBridge Airlines executive was allegedly assaulted mid-flight. The incident, captured on video by multiple passengers, has already been viewed millions of times online. The CEO of the airline, Marcus Bellamy, was reportedly traveling incognito when a passenger allegedly threw a drink at him after making what witnesses describe as racially charged comments. We'll have more on this developing story at 6. The clip has 1.8 million views in 30 minutes, and in a conference room in Manhattan, Reynolds and Drake Consulting is in full crisis mode. Reynolds and Drake Consulting, Manhattan, 2:47 p.m. Est. Robert Harrison, 56, white, senior partner and co-founder of Reynolds and Drake, sits at the head of the conference table. His face is grey. His hands are shaking slightly. In front of him is his phone, showing Jake Mitchell's viral video on repeat. Around the table, 5 other partners, the head of HR, the communications director, and 2 lawyers from their outside counsel. How bad is this? Robert asks for the 5th time in the past hour. Miranda Foster, communications director, looks like she hasn't slept. Bad. We're getting hundreds of calls. Reporters. Clients calling emergency meetings to discuss the relationship. Our social media is getting destroyed. People are calling for boycotts. The hashtag boycott Reynolds Drake is trending with over 600,000 mentions. Our stock? Robert knows the answer, but has to ask. Down 26% since the video posted. Market close is in an hour. We're expecting it to drop further. We've lost $94 million in market cap in 3 hours. One of the lawyers, Thomas Klein, 60 seconds, white, expensive suit, leans forward. Robert, we need to talk about liability. If this woman made racist statements while traveling on company business, and preliminary reports suggest she was heading to New York for the Meridian account, you could be exposed to significant civil liability. Hostile work environment claims. Discrimination. The airline could sue, the passenger could sue, other passengers could sue. We're looking at potential 8-figure exposure. She wasn't on company business, Robert says quickly. This was personal travel. Was it? The other lawyer. Sandra Ortiz. 40 seconds. Latina pulls out a tablet. Because I pulled her calendar. She was traveling to New York for client meetings, the Meridian account. She billed travel time to the client. That's company business, Robert. We're on the hook. Shit. Robert's phone buzzes. He looks at the caller ID. His stomach drops. Marcus Bellamy. Skybridge Airlines. He lets it go to voicemail. Can't face it. Not yet. Around the table, everyone watches him. Waiting for leadership. Waiting for decisions. 30 seconds later, the voicemail notification appears. Robert puts it on speaker with trembling hands. Marcus Bellamy's voice fills the room. Calm, professional, absolutely merciless. Robert, this is Marcus Bellamy. I believe one of your senior consultants, Victoria Whitmore, just committed a federal assault on me during Skybridge Flight 722 from Los Angeles to New York. Pause. You can hear people breathing in the conference room. The incident was recorded by multiple passengers and has now been viewed by approximately 2 million people online. I'm sure your legal team is already aware. Another pause. I'm calling to inform you that Skybridge Airlines is immediately terminating our consulting contract with Reynolds and Drake. We had a $2 million engagement for route optimization and operational efficiency. That contract is void as of now. Our legal team will be sending formal termination paperwork within the hour. Robert closes his eyes. Additionally, I'm personally recommending to the boards of 3 other companies where I serve as a director that they review their relationships with your firm. Those companies are TechCore Systems, Meridian Financial, and Pacific Holdings. Someone at the table gasps. Those 3 accounts represent another $23 million in annual revenue. I don't do business with companies that employ people who commit hate crimes, Marcus continues. His voice is ice cold now. Your employees' prejudice just cost you millions. And Robert, this isn't just about one consultant. This is about a culture that allowed 23 complaints against service workers to be filed over 3 years without any meaningful intervention. That's a systemic failure. That's a leadership failure. The words land like hammer blows. I hope you use this moment to examine what kind of company you're really running. Goodbye, Robert. The line goes dead. Nobody speaks. Robert Harrison stares at the phone. Around the conference table, 5 partners stare back at him. Miranda Foster breaks the silence. We're looking at potential loss of $33 million in annual revenue. Minimum. And that's if we can contain this. If more clients defect. Jesus Christ, someone whispers. Thomas Klein is typing on his phone. He looks up, face pale. The stock is now down 31%. We just lost another $18 million in market cap. We're in free fall. We need to fire her, another partner says urgently. Immediately. For cause. No severance. And we need to make a public statement, distancing ourselves. Already drafted the termination letter, says Patricia Wong, head of HR. We just need your signature, Robert. Robert looks at her. His hand is shaking. We've known Victoria for 18 years. She's been with us since she was 24. She helped build this firm. And in one flight, she destroyed it, Patricia says quietly. For all of us. We don't have a choice here, Sandra Ortiz adds. Every hour we delay firing her, we look more complicit. More like we condone this behavior. The longer she's associated with us, the worse the damage. Robert picks up a pen, signs the termination letter without reading it. Someone call her, he says, his voice hollow. Tell her she's fired. Tell her we're cooperating fully with law enforcement. Tell her we're distancing ourselves from her actions. Tell her, he pauses, tell her she's on her own. He stands up, walks to the window, looks out at Manhattan, the city where he built this firm from nothing, where he spent 30 years building a reputation, where he thought he'd understood how to manage risk. He never imagined a risk like this. A viral video, a drunken assault, a CEO sitting in the seat next to your employee, watching everything, building a case. Behind him, Patricia is already making the call. Victoria. It's Patricia from HR. I need you to listen very carefully. The partners have made a decision. Robert can't listen. He just stares out at the city, watching everything he built start to crumble. All because one person thought she had the right to treat another human being like garbage. Meanwhile, Robert has one more decision to make. He turns back to the conference table. One more thing, he says. His voice is steady now, resolved. I'm stepping down as CEO. The room erupts. What? Robert? You don't have to. Yes, I do. His voice is firm. Victoria worked here for 18 years. She had 23 complaints filed against her for abusing service workers, and I never saw them. Never asked. Never made it my business to know how my executives treated people they considered beneath them. He looks around the table at the shocked faces. That's a leadership failure. My failure. I created a culture where someone like Victoria could thrive for almost 2 decades while treating people terribly. I didn't ask the right questions. I didn't look at the right metrics. I valued client billings over character. He straightens his shoulders. The board can decide if I stay on in another capacity, but I'm not qualified to be CEO of a company that let this happen. We need new leadership. Leadership that understands that how we treat people, all people, matters as much as quarterly earnings. It's not falling on his sword. It's taking actual accountability. And in the silence that follows, Robert Harrison understands that sometimes the right thing to do is also the hardest thing to do. Outside the window, Manhattan glitters in the afternoon sun, indifferent to the empire crumbling inside this conference room. Part 6. The Landing, Arrest and Public Perp Walk, 3:31 p.m. EST, final approach to JFK. The Airbus. A 321 Neo begins its descent into New York airspace. Outside the windows, the late afternoon sun paints the city in gold and shadow, the Manhattan skyline catching light, the bridges spanning water, the endless grid of Queens spreading out below. Inside the cabin, the energy has shifted, The shock has worn off. Now there's anticipation, expectation. Everyone knows what's coming. Victoria Whitmore sits in seat 2D with her hands zip-tied behind her back. Her cream Armani pantsuit is wrinkled and stained. Her ponytail has come completely undone, blonde hair falling in messy strands around her face. Her makeup has smudged into dark circles under her eyes, mascara running in tracks down her cheeks from silent tears. She stopped talking 20 minutes ago, stopped crying 10 minutes ago. Now she just sits there, staring at the seat back in front of her, while her entire world collapses in real time on the internet. Because Jake Mitchell's TikTok video hasn't just gone viral. It's reached a level of saturation usually reserved for presidential elections and natural disasters. Current statistics: 3:31 p.m. EST. Views: 8. Shares: 2.1 million. Comments: 478,000. It's on every news channel. CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, all showing the same clip on repeat. The drink throw, Marcus's calm revelation, Victoria's shocked face, the handcuffs, the perp walk that's still to come. The chyrons keep changing. Breaking: Airline CEO assaulted mid-flight. Viral video shows alleged assault on executive. Woman throws drink at man who owns the plane. Consulting exec arrested after racist tirade. Twitter has exploded. Hashtag Skybridge drink incident. 3.4 million tweets. Hashtag Justice for Marcus. 1.2 million tweets. Hashtag boycott Reynolds Drake. 680,000 tweets. LinkedIn, professional, buttoned-up LinkedIn, is discussing it with unusual passion. Post from corporate ethics consultant. The Skybridge incident is a masterclass in how power should be wielded. Marcus Bellamy didn't reveal his identity until the pattern was established. He let his crew handle it professionally. He documented everything, and only then did he use his authority, not to humiliate, but to protect his employees and ensure accountability. Meanwhile, Victoria Whitmore showed us exactly what entitlement looks like when it's allowed to fester for years. This is leadership versus privilege in one viral moment. 247,000 likes, 67,000 shares. Reddit's front page has 5 separate posts about it, all with 80,000 plus upvotes. Facebook groups are discussing it. Mothers groups, business groups, aviation groups, service worker advocacy groups, civil rights organizations. Everyone has an opinion. And Victoria Whitmore, 42 years old, former senior VP at a prestigious consulting firm, former platinum executive frequent flyer with 347,000 miles, is watching her life disintegrate through the cracks in her fingers. Her phone, which David confiscated and placed in evidence, but she saw the notifications before he took it, showed 1,247 missed calls, 3,894 text messages, 18,473 new emails, LinkedIn notifications, 999 plus, the maximum the app will show, Instagram notifications, 999 plus, Twitter mentions, 999 plus. Her voicemail is full, her inbox is full, her life is full of consequences she never imagined. She feels the plane descending, feels her ears pop, feels the landing gear deploy with a mechanical thunk that resonates through the fuselage. Out the window, she can see JFK getting closer. The runways, the terminals, the emergency vehicles. Oh God. The emergency vehicles. 6 NYPD Port Authority patrol cars, 2 FBI vehicles, 3 TSA security trucks, all with lights flashing, red, blue, white. painting the tarmac in strobing colors. They're there for her. Oh God, she whispers. Oh God, oh God, oh God. It's the first thing she's said in 20 minutes. Captain Morrison's voice comes over the PA system one final time. Ladies and gentlemen, we're on final approach to John F. Kennedy International Airport. Please ensure your seats and tray tables are in their upright positions. Your seatbelts are securely fastened, and all carry-on items are stowed. Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for landing. The runway rises to meet them. The wheels touch, barely a bump. Captain Morrison is a 28-year veteran, and he makes every landing feel like kissing silk. The plane rolls, slows, turns off the active runway onto a taxiway, and that's when passengers in window seats see them clearly. 6 NYPD Port Authority officers in dark blue uniforms, standing in formation, 2 FBI agents in dark suits and sunglasses, looking like they walked out of a recruitment poster, 3 TSA supervisors with radios and serious expressions, a fleet of security vehicles with lights still flashing, news vans, camera crews, reporters with microphones. It looks like they're arresting a terrorist. They're just arresting Victoria. Oh God, she whispers again. Oh God. The plane taxis to gate C-17. Stops. The engines spool down. The seatbelt sign chimes off. Captain Morrison's voice. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened. Law enforcement will be boarding the aircraft momentarily. This will only take a few moments. Thank you for your cooperation and your patience with this unusual situation. Nobody moves. Everyone's watching. Phones are up again, recording the next chapter. The forward door opens. That distinctive sound of pressure equalizing, of seals breaking, of the outside world rushing in. The FBI agents board first. Special Agent Rebecca Torres, 39, Latina, 15 years with the Bureau. She's worked terrorism cases, organized crime, public corruption. She's seen everything. She's professionally unimpressed by everything. Special Agent Michael Foster, 44, white, aviation crimes specialist. He handles cases like this: assaults on aircraft, interference with crew, air rage incidents, bomb threats. He knows Title 49 United States Code backward and forward. They walk down the aisle with badges displayed on lanyards. Their shoes make no sound on the carpet. Their faces reveal nothing. Agent Torres approaches David Rivera, who's standing guard near 2D. We're here for Victoria Whitmore. Seat 2D? Right here, Agent. David steps aside. Both agents look at Victoria. She's crying again now. Makeup completely destroyed. Mascara running in black rivers down her cheeks. Her whole body shaking. She looks nothing like the confident woman who boarded in Los Angeles 3 hours ago. Miss Whitmore. Agent Torres's voice is professional, not unkind, but not sympathetic either. Just facts, just procedure. I'm Special Agent Torres with the FBI. You're being detained on suspicion of assault and interference with a flight crew in violation of federal law. Do you understand? I didn't. It was just a drink. I didn't mean to. Ma'am, do you understand the charges? Yes. Yes. I understand. Do you understand your rights? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. I know my rights. Victoria snaps, then immediately regrets it. Her voice softens to pleading. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yes, I understand. I want a lawyer. I'm not saying anything without a lawyer. That's your right, ma'am. Agent Foster pulls out a second set of restraints. Metal handcuffs this time, not the plastic flex cuffs David used. We're going to remove the temporary restraints and replace them with these. Please stand up and keep your hands behind your back. David cuts the plastic flex cuffs with safety scissors. Victoria's hands are free for exactly 3 seconds before the metal cuffs click into place. They're cold. Heavy. Real. The sound of the ratchet clicking, click, 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 echoes through the silent cabin. "Let's go, Miss Whitmore." They lead her down the aisle, and every single passenger is recording. 73 phones, 73 angles, 73 witnesses documenting her walk of shame in HD video from devices that will upload to the cloud the moment they reconnect to ground Wi-Fi. She keeps her head down, trying to hide her face. But there's nowhere to hide. The aisle is narrow. The cabin is bright, with afternoon sun streaming through windows. Everyone can see. Everyone is watching. Everyone will remember. As she passes Marcus's seat, he's still sitting, still in his vodka-soaked shirt, still calm. She tries one last desperate time. "Mr. Bellamy, please." Her voice breaks. "I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I'll do anything. Anything. Please don't press charges. I'll apologize publicly. I'll pay for your shirt. I'll pay for everything. Marcus looks up from his phone, where he's been reading news coverage of the incident that's still unfolding. His voice is quiet. Final. "You should have thought of that before you threw the drink, Miss Whitmore. But I didn't know who you were, and that's exactly the problem, isn't it?" He holds her gaze. "You thought I was someone you could treat that way, someone who didn't matter, someone whose dignity was negotiable." He looks back at his phone. "You were wrong." The agents lead Victoria away. Her legs barely work. They're practically carrying her down the aisle, through the door, into the jet bridge, where the real nightmare begins. The jet bridge is worse than the cabin. Because the media got here, somehow, through connections, through scanner monitoring, through airport sources, through sheer determination, news crews made it to the gate area. There are cameras everywhere, reporters with microphones, photographers with lenses the size of car engines, satellite trucks in the parking structure, sending live feeds to networks across the country. Rachel Park, 32, Asian American, ABC 7 News, is broadcasting live with JFK in the background. We're here at JFK, where Victoria Whitmore, senior consultant at Reynolds and Drake, is being escorted off Skybridge Airlines Flight 722 after allegedly assaulting the airline's CEO, Marcus Bellamy, in an incident that has already been viewed more than 9 million times online. Her cameraman, Tom Bradley, has the shot perfectly framed. Victoria in metal handcuffs, head down, flanked by FBI agents in dark suits. The contrast with her cream-colored business suit is stark. The image is devastating. It will be on front pages tomorrow. The incident, which occurred at cruising altitude over Arizona, was captured on video by multiple passengers, Rachel continues, her voice carrying that careful balance of professional distance and underlying excitement that comes with breaking news. Witnesses say Whitmore made racist comments before throwing her drink at Mr. Bellamy, who was traveling incognito to observe customer service operations. Other networks are present too. Breaking news from JFK, where a consulting executive faces federal charges. NBC. Viral video shows shocking mid-flight assault. Fox News. Airline's CEO attacked after passengers' racist tirade. Local New York stations. Exclusive footage of arrest at Kennedy Airport. Reporters shout questions over each other. "Miss Whitmore, did you assault the CEO? Do you have a statement? Are you a racist? What do you want to say to Mr. Bellamy? Do you regret your actions? How does it feel to lose everything?" Victoria shields her face with her handcuffed hands, an impossible gesture that leaves her stumbling. The agents steady her, moving her through quickly. They're professionals. They've done perp walks before. They know how to navigate media gauntlets. But the cameras catch everything, every angle, every moment, every expression of shame and fear and regret on Victoria's face, the tears streaming down her cheeks, the way her legs nearly give out, the designer pantsuit now wrinkled and stained, the handcuffs gleaming under camera lights, These images will define her. Forever. They'll be in tomorrow's New York Times, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal. They'll be on CNN International, BBC World News, networks across the globe. There'll be memes, screenshots, cautionary tales. This is what the end of a career looks like. This is what consequences look like. This is what happens when you forget that every person you meet deserves basic human dignity. Inside the aircraft, Marcus waits until every other passenger has deplaned. He's last, always last, letting his fellow passengers exit first, not because of any remaining attempt at anonymity, but simply because it's courteous. The cabin is empty now, except for him, David, and Lily. Lily's eyes are still red. She's been crying on and off for the past hour, not from sadness exactly, but from the sheer emotional overload of what happened, from having her worst work nightmare play out in real time, from being validated and vindicated but also traumatized. "Mr. Bellamy," she starts, her voice shaking. "I am so sorry that happened to you. I should have called for backup sooner. I should have been more assertive. I should have—" Marcus stops her with a gentle hand on her shoulder. "Lily, look at me." She does. Her eyes are wide, wet with tears, searching his face for, what? Blame? Disappointment? She finds neither. "You did everything right. Everything. You were professional. You were courteous. You tried to de-escalate. You followed protocol. You handled an impossible situation with grace and courage." His voice is firm, leaving no room for doubt. "I'm proud of you. But she assaulted me. Not because you did anything wrong, because she's a person who believes she has the right to treat people badly. That's not your fault. That's entirely, completely, 100% hers. Do you understand?" Lily nods, but she's still crying. "I'm going to make sure corporate knows how well you handled this," Marcus continues. "You're going to get a commendation in your file, a significant bonus, stock options if you want them, and I want you to lead the new de-escalation training program we're going to develop because of this. You're exactly the kind of flight attendant we want, training others. The kind who stays professional under pressure. The kind who treats every passenger with dignity, even when they don't deserve it. The kind who makes this airline what it is. Really." Her voice is so small. "Really. Lily, you're 22 years old and you just handled one of the most difficult situations a flight attendant can face. You did it perfectly. That's remarkable. That's the kind of person we want building the future of this company." Lily bursts into tears again, but these are different tears. Relief, gratitude, validation. The tears of someone who thought they'd failed, but is being told they succeeded beyond expectation. David steps forward, offers his hand. Marcus shakes it. "Sir, I've been doing this job for 20 years. David's voice is steady, but there's emotion underneath. The kind that comes from finally being seen, finally being valued. "I have never seen anything like that." "Me neither, David. And hopefully we never will again." Marcus pauses, making sure David hears what comes next. "But if we do, if we ever face a situation like this again, I want my crew to handle it exactly the way you did. Professional, documented, by the book. You protected everyone in that cabin, passengers and crew both. You kept people safe. You maintained order. You did your job perfectly under circumstances that would break most people. That's extraordinary. Thank you, sir." And, David, promotion. Director of Crew Safety and Support. New title. Significant raise. Leadership role. I want you designing protocols for situations like this. I want you training pursers across our entire fleet. I want your 2 decades of experience protecting the next generation of crew members. Are you interested? David's eyes widen. He's been a purser for 10 years, a flight attendant for 20 total. He loves the job, but he's tired. The thought of not having to deal with passengers like Victoria anymore, of instead teaching others how to handle them, is almost overwhelming. Yes, absolutely, sir. I don't know what to say. Say yes. Say you'll help me make this airline the safest, most supportive place to work in the industry. Say you'll help me prove that taking care of employees isn't just good ethics, it's good business. Yes. Yes, I'll do it. They shake hands again, and this time David's grip is firm, confident, full of purpose. Marcus picks up his satchel, still damp, still smelling faintly like vodka and lime. He walks off the plane. His shirt is wet. His jeans are uncomfortable. His beard still has that sticky feeling that comes from sugary mixed drinks drying on skin. But he's walking tall, because he just showed his crew, all 12,000 of them, everyone who will hear this story, that he'll fight for them, that their dignity matters. That nobody, no matter how much status they have, no matter how many miles they've flown, no matter how much money they make, has the right to treat them as less than human. He walks through the jet bridge, through the gate area where media has gathered. They try to get his attention, but he politely declines. Comment, through the terminal toward ground transportation. His phone buzzes. Text from Jennifer. The video is now at 7 million views. Your office is getting calls from every major news network. They want interviews. Today Show, GMA, 60 Minutes. Everyone. What should I tell them? Marcus types back. No interviews yet. Issue brief statement. Justice has been served. We're focused on supporting our crew and ensuring our aircraft remain safe spaces for all passengers and employees. That's all I have to say at this time. Then start working on the foundation. I'll explain when I'm back in LA tomorrow. What foundation? The one we're announcing next week. Find me $50 million in my personal accounts. We're going to turn this into something good. Something that matters. $50 million? Marcus, that's nearly half your... I know what it is. Do it. This money can either sit in accounts, earning interest, or it can change lives. Easy choice. On it. Marcus? Yeah? I'm proud to work for you. What you did today, letting her reveal herself, protecting your crew, using your power to shield people instead of hurt them, that's real leadership. That's the kind of CEO people dream of working for. Marcus smiles as he types. I'm proud to work with you. All of you. That's why we do this. See you tomorrow. He walks through JFK, just another passenger in wet clothes carrying a worn leather satchel, heading for the taxi stand, ready to check into a hotel and sleep before tomorrow's flight home. Behind him, 7 million people are watching his story unfold. But ahead of him, something much bigger is being built. Justice wasn't the end. It was just the beginning. Part 7. The Legal Reckoning. FBI Field Office. Lower Manhattan. 5:47 p.m. EST. Same day. Victoria Whitmore sits in a grey room with a metal table and 3 chairs. The walls are bare, except for a 2-way mirror and a clock that ticks loudly. The kind of loud that makes every second feel like an hour. She's been here for 2 hours. They've processed her. Fingerprints. Her hands shook so badly they had to do it 3 times. Photographs, front, left profile, right profile, holding a placard with her booking number. Personal effects collected and catalogued. Phone, wallet, with credit cards and IDs. Jewelry, diamond earrings, Tiffany necklace, Cartier watch. Belt, shoes. She's wearing temporary paper slippers now. Her expensive Louboutins, the ones that clicked so authoritatively through airports, through office buildings, through her life, are in an evidence bag somewhere in this building. The room smells like industrial cleaner and fear, and the accumulated desperation of everyone who's ever sat in this chair. Across from her sits her attorney, Arthur Morrison, 58, white, one of New York's most expensive criminal defense lawyers. He charges $850 an hour, the same rate Victoria billed her consulting clients. The irony isn't lost on anyone. Arthur's suit costs $4,000. His watch costs $15,000. His Italian leather briefcase costs $3,000. His expression says he'd rather be literally anywhere else on earth. "Miss Whitmore," he says, his voice carrying the particular blend of cynicism and exhaustion that comes from 30 years of defending people who did exactly what they're accused of. "I'm going to be very direct with you. The evidence against you is overwhelming." Victoria's voice is small, broken. "But it was just a drink. It was assault. On an airplane, against the CEO of the airline, while making racist statements. Everything was recorded from multiple angles by dozens of witnesses, many of whom have already given voluntary statements to federal agents." Arthur flips open his leather portfolio, revealing neatly organized documents. "Let me walk you through what we're facing." He pulls out a printed document. The federal charges, already filed. Count 1. Assault under the Federal Aviation Act. Title 49. Section 46506. This is not a misdemeanor, Victoria. This is a felony. Maximum penalty: 20 years in federal prison. Victoria gasps. A sharp, wounded sound. Count 2. Interference with flight crew members and attendants. Title 49. Section 46504. This carries a mandatory minimum sentence of 5 years and a maximum of 20 years. This is the serious one, because there's no judicial discretion on that minimum. If you're convicted, the judge must give you at least 5 years. Must. But I didn't interfere with. You created a disturbance that required the head purser to physically restrain you, contact the captain, who then had to coordinate with air traffic control for law enforcement response, diverting crew resources from passenger safety responsibilities. That's textbook interference under federal statute. Arthur doesn't look up from his notes. Count 3. Assault in the 3rd degree under New York state law. That's a misdemeanor. Maximum 1 year in county jail, but it stacks with the federal charges. He sets down the document and looks at her directly for the first time. "And here's the part that really concerns me, Victoria. The prosecution is considering a hate crime enhancement under federal law. If they can prove your actions were motivated by racial animus, and there are multiple witness statements about your comments, there's video of you making those comments, there's a documented pattern on your social media, that enhancement adds significant time to any sentence. We're talking an additional 5 to 10 years on top of the base sentence." Victoria is crying again. "But I'm not racist. I have black colleagues. I donate to the NAACP. I voted for—" "Stop." Arthur holds up his hand sharply. "Don't say another word about that. Those are classic defensive statements that sound terrible to juries. You're not on trial for your voting record or your charitable giving or who your colleagues are. You're on trial for what you did and what you said on that aircraft. Do you understand the distinction?" She nods, tears streaming. "Let me give you the reality," Arthur continues, his voice harsh because sometimes clients need harsh. "You're looking at a mandatory minimum of 5 years in federal prison if convicted on all counts as currently filed. More likely, with the hate crime enhancement if they add it, we're talking 8 to 12 years as a realistic sentencing range. That's best case scenario if we go to trial and lose. And worst case, 20 years. You'd be 62 when you got out. And Victoria?" He leans forward. "Juries don't like people who assault service workers. They don't like people who say racist things on airplanes. They don't like privileged consultants who bill at $850 an hour and then throw drinks at people. You are the perfect defendant for a jury to hate. Do you understand what I'm telling you?" "Yes." she whispers. Good. Because there's one piece of good news, and I strongly suggest you take it. Her head snaps up. What? The prosecution has offered a plea deal. The plea offer. Arthur slides a document across the table. Victoria picks it up with trembling hands. They drop count 1, the federal assault charge that carries 20 years. They drop the hate crime enhancement that's still under consideration. You plead guilty to count 2, interference with flight crew, and count 3, state assault. And the sentence? 2 years supervised probation. $10,000 fine, payable within 90 days. 200 hours of community service to be determined by the court. Mandatory anger management counseling, 1 session per week for the entire probation period, and a permanent notation in the Federal Aviation Security Database that prohibits you from certain types of travel. Victoria's eyes are wide. That's it? No prison? No prison. If, and this is critical, Victoria, if you keep your nose absolutely clean for 2 years, 1 missed probation meeting, 1 positive drug test, 1 traffic ticket that you don't immediately handle, 1 single violation of any term of the probation, and you go to prison for the maximum sentence on the remaining charges. 5 years, automatic, no judicial discretion, but no prison right away? Correct. She nearly collapses with relief. Then I'll take it. I'll take it right now. Not so fast. Arthur's voice is hard. This deal comes with conditions that you need to understand. What conditions? You have to allocute. I have to what? Allocute. It's a legal term. It means you have to stand up in open court, in front of the judge, the media, the public gallery, everyone, and admit exactly what you did. No minimizing, no justifications. No, I was under stresses, or I didn't mean it, or I was having a bad day. You have to take full, complete, unqualified responsibility. You have to detail your actions. You have to express genuine remorse. You have to convince the judge that you understand what you did wrong. Victoria is quiet. Can you do that? I think so. You need to be sure. Because I've watched the video, Victoria, multiple times, and you don't look sorry in that video. You look satisfied. You sit back down after throwing that drink, and you smile. You actually smile, like you just won something. She flinches. So when I say you need to express genuine remorse, I mean you need to dig deep, deeper than you've ever gone in your life, and find actual, authentic regret for the harm you caused. Not regret that you got caught. Not regret that your life is ruined. Regret for what you did to another human being. Can you do that? Victoria is quiet for a long, long moment. Then, quietly, yes. I think I can. I think I need to. You better. Because if the judge thinks you're performing, if they think you're just sorry you got caught, if they think you're saying words your lawyer told you to say without meaning them, they can reject the plea deal. They can send us to trial. And, Victoria, I need you to understand this clearly. You do not want to go to trial. Why not? If I'm innocent, you're not innocent. There's video from 8 different angles showing you throwing that drink. There are 73 witnesses. There are audio recordings of your racist statements. There's your social media history. There's your complaint history with the airline. No jury in New York, none, is going to side with you after watching those videos and hearing those statements. You will be convicted. And then you will go to prison for years. Arthur starts packing up his papers. We have 48 hours to accept the deal. The prosecution wants an answer by Monday morning. I recommend you take the weekend to think about it. Really think. Because once you plead guilty, that's it. No appeals, no takebacks, no claiming you were coerced or confused. This will be on your record forever. A federal conviction. Every job application, every apartment application, every background check for the rest of your life. He stands up, and Victoria, one more thing. What? Start looking for a new job, because even with this deal, your career in consulting is over. Nobody's going to hire you. Not after this. The best you can hope for is something low profile, low responsibility, low visibility. Your $850 an hour days are done. He leaves her alone in the grey room. Victoria puts her head down on the metal table and cries. Reynolds and Drake Consulting, Manhattan. Monday morning, 9:15 am. 3 days after the incident. The emergency board meeting has been running for 3 hours. Robert Harrison looks like he's aged 10 years in 3 days. The bags under his eyes are purple. His suit, usually immaculate, is wrinkled. He hasn't slept. The other partners look worse. On the wall-mounted screens, financial data tells a brutal story. Stock price, Friday close before incident, $47.23. Monday open, $28, $94. Current, 9:15 am, $27, $31. Loss, 42% of market value. Market cap destroyed, $156 million. Client status, Skybridge Airlines, $7. 2M, annual revenue, terminated. Tech Core Systems, $8. 9M, annual revenue, terminated. Meridian Financial, $6. 4M, annual revenue, terminated. Announced this morning. Pacific Holdings, $7. 8M, annual revenue, under emergency review. 3 additional clients, $11. 3M combined, requesting meetings to discuss relationship. Total confirmed lost revenue, $22. 5M annually. Total at-risk revenue, $41. 6M annually. The silence in the room is heavy. Miranda Foster, Communications Director, looks like she hasn't left the office all weekend. She probably hasn't. Social media analysis, she says, her voice hoarse. We've been mentioned in 6-8 million tweets. 91% negative. The hashtag boycott Reynolds Drake has been used 890,000 times. Our LinkedIn company page has received 18,000 comments, almost all critical or condemning. Several business schools, Harvard, Wharton, Stanford, have announced they're suspending recruitment relationships with us, pending cultural review. She clicks to the next slide. Her hand shakes slightly. 3 former employees have come forward with stories about Victoria's behavior. The media is running them as pattern of discrimination pieces. One claims she made racist comments during a 2019 team meeting. Another says she demanded a black colleague be removed from a client presentation because the client preferred a different aesthetic. A third describes her referring to service workers, flight attendants, hotel staff, restaurant servers, as the help, and treating them like they were invisible. Jesus, someone mutters. It gets worse, Miranda continues. Investigative journalists have pulled her Twitter archive. She deleted her account Saturday morning, but the Internet Archive had everything. There are screenshots circulating of tweets from 2018 to 2023 where she complained about urban passengers in premium cabins, suggested that some people shouldn't be allowed in business class, and made coded comments about merit-based standards that read as pretty clearly racist dog whistles to anyone paying attention. Robert puts his head in his hands. What are our options? Asks Patricia Wong, head of HR, though her voice suggests she already knows the answer is not many. We've already fired her for cause, Robert says. We're cooperating fully with law enforcement. We handed over her employment file, complaint history, everything they requested. We've issued multiple public statements condemning her behavior and distancing the firm. What else can we possibly do? Thomas Klein, the lawyer, speaks up. We need to do more than distance ourselves, Robert. We need to demonstrate that this was an aberration, not a reflection of our culture. I recommend immediate implementation of the following. First, mandatory bias training for all employees, conducted by an outside firm with expertise in this area, not an internal program. Second, complete revision of our code of conduct to explicitly address discrimination and harassment of service workers, vendors, and anyone else our people interact with professionally. Third, creation of a diversity and inclusion task force with real authority, not just advisory role. And fourth, he pauses. We need to make significant charitable donations, public donations, to organizations that fight discrimination. NAACP Legal Defense Fund, Equal Justice Initiative, similar organizations. How much? $500,000, minimum. Maybe $1 million to make the right impact. $1 million because one employee had a meltdown on a plane. One of the partners, James Whitfield, sounds incredulous. $1 million because we're trying to save a company that was worth $370 million before this incident. Sandra Ortiz shoots back. We've already lost $156 million in market cap. We're hemorrhaging client revenue. We're facing potential 8-figure civil liability exposure if the airline or other passengers sue. $1 million in charitable donations is the cheapest insurance we can buy at this point. Robert looks around the table, sees resignation, exhaustion, fear, anger, and something else, shame, because they all know, even if they're not saying it, that Victoria Whitmore worked here for 18 years. She had 23 documented complaints, and nobody, not Robert, not HR, not her direct supervisors, not her partners, ever did anything about it. They all let it happen. Do it, Robert says quietly. All of it. Bias training, code of conduct, revision, diversity, task force with real authority, charitable donations. Make it $1 million, whatever it takes, to show we're serious about change. He stands up, walks to the window, looks out at Manhattan, the city where he built this firm, from a 2-person operation in 1994 to a 200-person powerhouse with offices in 6 cities. The city where his name was synonymous with excellence. That reputation is gone now. One more thing, he says without turning around. Everyone waits. I'm stepping down as CEO, effective immediately. The room erupts. Robert, you don't have to. That's not necessary. We can weather this together. He turns around. His face is set. Yes, I do. Victoria worked here for 18 years. She had 23 complaints filed against her for abusing service workers, flight attendants, hotel housekeepers, restaurant servers, customer service representatives. 23. And I never saw them. Never looked at that data. Never made it my business to ask how my executives treated people they considered beneath them. He looks around the table at his partners. That's a leadership failure. My failure. I created a culture, or at least I allowed a culture to exist, where someone like Victoria could thrive for almost 2 decades while treating people terribly. I didn't ask the right questions. I didn't look at the right metrics. I valued client billings and revenue growth and prestige over character and basic human decency. His voice is steady now, resolved. The board can decide if I stay on as senior counsel or in another advisory capacity. But I'm not qualified to be CEO of a company that let this happen. We need new leadership. Leadership that understands that how we treat people, all people, regardless of their position or income or status, matters as much as quarterly earnings, maybe more. It's not falling on his sword. It's taking actual, real accountability. Something Victoria never did until she had no choice. In the silence that follows, the other partners look at each other. Some nod slowly. Some look relieved that someone finally said it. Some look troubled. Robert Harrison walks to the door. The search for my replacement starts today. I recommend you look for someone who's worked their way up from nothing. Someone who remembers what it's like to be dismissed. Someone who'll notice those 23 complaints and actually do something about them. He leaves. Behind him, his legacy crumbles. But maybe, just maybe, something better can be built from the pieces. Outside the window, Manhattan glitters in the morning sun, indifferent to the empire crumbling inside this conference room. 4 weeks later, Arthur Morrison's office. Victoria sits across from Arthur. She's lost 18 pounds. Her hair is unwashed, pulled back in a simple ponytail. She's wearing jeans and a plain sweater, her first time in weeks without business attire. There's no point dressing professionally anymore. She has nowhere to go. She's living with her parents in their New Jersey suburb. She's 42 years old, sleeping in her childhood bedroom, surrounded by high school yearbooks and college pennants that mock her from the walls. I spoke with the prosecutor this morning, Arthur says. They've agreed to the deal. 2 years probation, $10,000 fine, 200 hours, community service, anger management. But we need to talk about the victim impact statement. I thought Marcus Bellamy wasn't pressing charges personally, that it was federal prosecution. He's not pressing charges. But in federal cases, victims have the right to submit impact statements for the court to consider during sentencing. Mr. Bellamy has submitted one. It's substantial. Arthur slides a document across the desk. Victoria picks it up with trembling hands. She reads, "To the Honorable Court, I am writing not primarily about the assault on me, but about the real victims of Miss Whitmore's actions, my crew members and all service workers who face similar treatment every day." Lily Thompson is 22 years old. She has been a flight attendant for 4 months. After Flight 722, she called in sick for 3 days. When she returned to work, she experienced panic attacks every time she had to serve business class. She has considered quitting the job she worked so hard to get, a job she loves, a job she's excellent at, because one passenger made her feel worthless. David Rivera has 20 years of experience in aviation. He has handled medical emergencies, emergency landings, and countless difficult passengers. He has never once considered leaving this profession he loves. After Flight 722, he told me he wasn't sure he could continue. Not because of the assault on me, but because he's exhausted from watching his crew members absorb abuse while the system historically protected the abusers. This incident affected me for one flight, but it may end Lily's career before it truly begins. It may cost the aviation industry David's 2 decades of expertise and leadership. Miss Whitmore didn't just throw a drink at me. She contributed to a culture that tells service workers their dignity is negotiable, that their job is to absorb abuse with a smile, that people with money and status can treat them however they wish. That culture hurts real people. It damages real lives. It drives good people out of honest work. I don't write this seeking vengeance. I write it seeking understanding. Whatever sentence this court imposes, I hope it communicates clearly. Everyone deserves dignity. Everyone deserves respect. Your position in life, your income, your status, none of that gives you the right to treat others as less than human. The service workers who clean your offices, serve your meals, help you travel, they're not invisible. They're not obstacles. They're people doing honest work that makes our society function. They deserve better than what Miss Whitmore gave them. Respectfully, Marcus J. Bellamy, CEO, Skybridge Airlines. Victoria sets down the letter. She's crying, but different tears than before. Not self-pity, something else. "He's right," she whispers. "What?" "He's right. About all of it." Victoria looks up, and her eyes are red but clear. "I treated those flight attendants like garbage. I treated the gate agent like garbage. I treated everyone who served me, flight attendants, hotel staff, restaurant servers, Uber drivers, everyone, like they were there for my convenience, like they didn't matter, like they weren't real people." Arthur leans back in his chair, studying her carefully. Is that genuine remorse, or are you rehearsing for the judge? It's genuine. Victoria's voice is steady now. I've had 4 weeks to think about what I did. 4 weeks of watching that video on repeat because I can't escape it. It's everywhere. It follows me everywhere. 4 weeks of seeing myself smile after throwing that drink. 4 weeks of reading the comments, seeing what people think of me. She takes a breath. And they're right. I was a terrible person. I am a terrible person. But maybe... She hesitates. Maybe I don't have to stay that way. Maybe I can learn. Maybe I can change. Arthur nods slowly. That's good. That's very good. Because when you stand in front of Judge Castillo next week, that's exactly what you need to convey. Not that you're sorry you got caught. That you're sorry for who you've been. That you understand the harm you caused. That you're committed to being better. I understand. And Victoria? The community service. The judge gets to assign where you do it. Based on the case file and the nature of your offense, I have a strong feeling they're going to be creative about placement. What do you mean? I mean you should prepare yourself to spend 200 hours doing exactly the kind of work you treated as beneath you. Service work. The kind of work done by people you didn't even see as human. Victoria is quiet for a long moment. Then, good. What? Good. Maybe that's exactly what I need. Maybe I need to understand what their lives are like. Maybe I need to do the work I looked down on. Maybe that's the only way I'll really learn. Arthur studies her, looking for performance, looking for calculation. He sees something different. Not redemption, that's too strong a word, too soon. But maybe the very beginning of self-awareness. Maybe the first crack in years of entitlement. Maybe. The sentencing is next Wednesday, he says. I'll prep you over the weekend. We'll practice your allocution. We'll make sure you're ready. But Victoria, yes, this is your last chance. Your only chance. Don't waste it. She won't. She can't. Because there's nowhere left to fall. Part 8. The sentencing. Public accountability. United States District Court, Southern District of New York. 6 weeks after the incident. Wednesday, 10 o'clock am. The courtroom is packed beyond capacity. Every seat filled. Standing room only at the back. Court officers have had to turn people away. The public gallery includes media, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox News, local New York stations, international press, print reporters from The Times, The Post, The Journal, The Guardian, Le Monde, Der Spiegel. This story has gone global. Aviation industry representatives from the Flight Attendants Union, the Pilots Union, airline executives taking notes, civil rights advocates from NAACP, Equal Justice Initiative, Southern Poverty Law Center, Skybridge employees, David Rivera and Lily Thompson, sitting together in the third row, both in civilian clothes but somehow still looking like crew. Straight posture, alert expressions. Dr. Sophia Martinez, who took the red eye from LA to be here because she needs to see this through. James Porter, the Harvard law attorney who recorded the incident, here as both witness and observer. Members of the public who won a lottery for 30 seats because this sentencing has become that significant, that watched, that important. Marcus Bellamy is not here. He's submitted his statement. He's said what he needs to say. His absence is deliberate. This isn't about him. It's about Victoria, about consequences, about justice. Victoria sits at the defense table next to Arthur Morrison. She's wearing a drab grey suit that Arthur selected specifically because it makes her look humble, penitent, small, the opposite of the cream Armani power suit from the plane. Her hair is flat, no volume, no style, no makeup except the bare minimum. She's lost weight. Her cheekbones are sharp, her collarbones prominent. Her suit hangs loose, She looks like a different person from the woman in the viral video. That's the point. Judge Maria Castillo, 51, Latina, sits on the bench, reviewing the file in front of her. She's been a federal judge for 12 years. Before that, 10 years as a prosecutor in the Southern District, 5 years as a public defender before that, 3 years as a law professor. She's seen everything. She's impressed by nothing. She's read the plea agreement, the victim impact statement, the witness statements, the psychological evaluation, the pre-sentencing report prepared by probation services, Victoria's employment history, her social media archive, every piece of evidence. Miss Whitmore, please stand. Victoria stands. Her legs shake, visibly shake. Arthur has to steady her with a hand on her elbow. You've entered a guilty plea to count 2, interference with flight crew members, a federal felony, and count 3, assault in the 3rd degree under New York state law. Is that correct? Yes, Your Honor. Victoria's voice is barely audible. Speak up, please. Yes, Your Honor. Louder now, but shaking. And you understand that by entering this plea, you're admitting that you committed these crimes, that you're giving up your right to trial, your right to confront witnesses, your right to force the government to prove its case beyond a reasonable doubt? Yes, Your Honor. I understand. And you're doing this voluntarily? No one has forced you or threatened you or promised you anything beyond what's in the written plea agreement? Yes, Your Honor. It's voluntary. The court has reviewed the plea agreement and the sentencing recommendation from both parties. Before I decide whether to accept this plea and impose sentence, I want to hear from you. Do you have a statement you'd like to make? Victoria nods. Arthur has prepared her for this moment. She's practiced this speech 50 times in his office, in front of a mirror, in her childhood bedroom in New Jersey. But now, standing here, the words feel different, more real, more necessary, more true. Your Honor, her voice breaks. She takes a breath, starts again. Your Honor, I'm not here to make excuses. I'm here to take responsibility for what I did. She looks up at the judge, makes eye contact. Arthur told her, this is crucial. Look at the judge. Be present. Mean what you say. 6 weeks ago, on Skybridge Airlines Flight 722, I assaulted Marcus Bellamy. I threw my drink in his face. I did it because I was angry, because I felt entitled to, because I thought I could, because I've spent years treating service workers as if they didn't matter, as if they existed only for my convenience, as if their dignity was something I could disregard whenever I wanted. Her voice is steadier now. The truth, it turns out, is easier to speak than lies. But that assault, that single moment, wasn't really isolated. It was the result of years of treating people badly. Flight attendants, gate agents, restaurant servers, hotel housekeepers, Uber drivers, anyone I saw as beneath me, anyone whose job was to serve me. A tear runs down her cheek. She doesn't wipe it away. I told myself I wasn't a bad person. I told myself I was just demanding, just holding people to standards, just expecting the service I'd paid for. But I was lying to myself. The truth I couldn't see until everyone else showed it to me, is that I was cruel. I was entitled, and I was racist. She pauses. The courtroom is absolutely silent. I need to say that word because it's true. Racist. When I looked at Mr. Bellamy, I didn't see a successful businessman or a CEO, or even just a person. I saw a black man in casual clothes and I made assumptions. I assumed he didn't belong. I assumed he hadn't earned his seat. I assumed he'd gotten it through quotas or complaints or playing some card. I assumed I had the right to treat him as less than human. Judge Castillo's expression hasn't changed, but she's listening intently. So is everyone else. You could hear a pin drop. Those assumptions were wrong. They were racist, and I need to own that. Not because my lawyer told me to say it. She glances at Arthur, who nods slightly. But because it's true. Because I can't change if I can't first admit what I was. Victoria's voice drops lower, more intimate, like she's talking to just the judge now. I can't undo what I did. I can't unthrow that drink. I can't unhurt Mr. Bellamy or Lily Thompson or David Rivera or Dr. Martinez or anyone else I hurt that day. I can't give back the dignity I stole from service workers over years of treating them like they didn't matter. She swallows hard. But I can. I hope I can. Learn from this. Someone who sees other people as people, not as obstacles or servants or things that exist for my convenience. Her voice is almost a whisper now. Your Honor, I'm not asking for mercy. I'm asking for a chance to prove that people can change, that I can change, that I can become the person I should have been all along. Whatever sentence you impose, I'll accept it. I'll complete it. I'll use it to become better. She sits down. The courtroom is silent for a long moment. Arthur nods slightly. It was good. Better than good. Genuine in a way that can't be faked. Judge Castillo takes off her reading glasses, sets them down carefully on her bench, looks at Victoria for a long, measuring moment. Miss Whitmore, I've been a judge for 12 years. I've heard hundreds of apologies in this courtroom, some genuine, some performative, some that are just words people say because their lawyers told them it might help. She pauses. I'm not entirely sure which category yours falls into. And frankly, Miss Whitmore, I'm not sure it matters today. Victoria's heart sinks. What matters, what will always matter in this court, is what you did. The video evidence, which I've reviewed multiple times, shows that after you assaulted Mr. Bellamy, you sat down with a smile on your face. You looked satisfied, pleased with yourself. That tells me everything I need to know about your state of mind in that moment. You enjoyed hurting him. You felt powerful. The judge picks up a document, Marcus's victim impact statement. I've also reviewed Mr. Bellamy's statement, which I found powerful and important. He writes not about himself, but about his crew, about Lily Thompson, 22 years old, considering quitting a job she loves because you made her feel worthless, about David Rivera, 20 years of experience, wondering if he can continue in a profession he's devoted his life to. Those are real costs, Miss Whitmore, real harm to real people. She sets down the statement. However, the pre-sentencing report indicates that you've been cooperative with law enforcement. You've accepted responsibility. Today, you did so eloquently, and, I believe, sincerely. You've shown, in the past 6 weeks, signs of genuine contrition and self-reflection. And Mr. Bellamy's statement, while describing harm, focuses not on punishment for you, but on protecting others. He wants systemic change, not vengeance. She picks up her gavel. I accept the prosecution's plea recommendation with several modifications. Victoria's hands grip the table edge. White knuckles. This is it. You are hereby sentenced to 2 years of supervised probation. Let me be very clear about what this means. One single violation of that probation, one missed meeting with your probation officer, one failed drug test, one traffic ticket you don't immediately handle properly, one anything, and you will serve the maximum sentence of 5 years in federal prison. No second chances, no mercy. Do you understand? Yes, Your Honor. You are fined $10,000, payable in full within 90 days. If you cannot pay, you will work out a payment plan with the probation office, but it will be paid. Yes, Your Honor. You are ordered to complete 200 hours of community service, and I am specifying where. The judge leans forward slightly. You will serve those hours at LaGuardia Airport, working with the janitorial and service staff, the very people whose work you treated as beneath you. You will clean bathrooms. You will empty trash. You will mop floors. You will assist passengers. And you will do it wearing a vest that identifies you as court-ordered community service, so that everyone who sees you will know why you're there. Victoria's face drains of color. Furthermore, you are prohibited from air travel except with explicit written permission from your probation officer. If your employment requires travel, you may apply for permission. If granted, you will fly economy class only. No business class. No first class. No exceptions. For 2 years. The judge picks up her gavel, but she's not done. Miss Whitmore, I want you to understand something. You had power. The power of wealth, of status, of whiteness, of being able to walk through the world assuming spaces belonged to you. And you wielded that power as a weapon against people who couldn't fight back. People just trying to do their jobs. People who deserve dignity and respect. She pauses for weight. You learned, in the hardest way possible, that power without character is hollow. That privilege is not a shield against consequences. That the internet has made it impossible to abuse people anonymously. That someone you dismiss as nobody might actually be somebody very important. But more critically, that everyone is somebody to someone. Everyone deserves basic human respect. The gavel hovers. I truly hope, that you use these 2 years to become a better person. But mostly, I hope that the millions of people who watch that video learn from your example. Learn that they cannot treat service workers like garbage without facing consequences. Learn that the customer is always right does not mean the customer can be abusive. Learn that every person doing honest work deserves dignity. The gavel comes down. Bang. Court adjourned. Victoria is led out through a side door to avoid the media circus in the main hallway. But it doesn't matter. Reporters are everywhere. They've staked out every exit. Cameras flash as she emerges into the hallway. Questions shouted. Victoria, do you have a statement? Do you accept the sentence? Are you really sorry? Will you complete your community service? What do you want to say to Marcus Bellamy? She keeps her head down, gets into her father's car waiting in the underground garage, covers her face with her hands. The drive back to her parents' house in New Jersey is silent. Her mother is crying in the passenger seat. Quiet tears, the kind that come from shame and disappointment and love that can't fix anything. Her father grips the steering wheel with white knuckles, jaw tight, saying nothing because what is there to say? Victoria stares out the window, watching Manhattan disappear behind them. The city where she built her career. The city where she had an apartment overlooking Central Park. The city where she was someone important. She's thinking about LaGuardia Airport, about cleaning bathrooms, about wearing a vest that announces to everyone what she did, who she is, what she's become. The cosmic justice of it is almost beautiful. She'll spend 200 hours in an airport, the kind of place where she used to walk through confidently, importantly, treating the workers as invisible. Now she'll be one of them, cleaning up after travelers, being invisible herself, learning what it feels like. Meanwhile, in Los Angeles, Marcus is in a meeting when Jennifer knocks on his door. The sentencing is done, she says. 2 years probation, $10,000 fine, 200 hours of community service at LaGuardia Airport. Economy-only travel for the probation period. Marcus nods. Good. That's appropriate. The judge's statement was incredible. It's already going viral. Privilege is not a shield against consequences. Perfect soundbite. Judge Castillo is a smart woman. She understood what this case was really about. Are you satisfied with the outcome? Marcus thinks about that. Is he satisfied? A woman who assaulted him is cleaning airport bathrooms instead of sitting in prison. Some people will say that's too lenient, that she should have done time, but he thinks about Lily, who's now leading training programs, about David, who's designing crew safety protocols, about the foundation he's about to announce, about the conversation this case has started about how we treat service workers. I'm satisfied, he says, that we turned something terrible into something useful, that justice was served and mercy was given room to work, that consequences were real but not purely punitive. That's enough. The press conference for the foundation is tomorrow. You ready? Yes. Let's change the subject from what she did to what we're going to do. Let's turn the page. The Sky Bridge Promise Foundation. Still love the name. Good. Because we're about to make it matter. Tomorrow, he'll announce $50 million, nearly half his liquid personal wealth, to fund scholarships, travel grants, and support for service workers. Tomorrow, he'll turn hate into hope. Tomorrow, he'll show the world that the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's building something better. Part 9. The Transformation. 6 months later. Skybridge Airlines, hangar, JFK. 3 weeks after sentencing. Mid-morning, sun streaming through hangar windows. Marcus Bellamy stands at a podium in front of 200 journalists. Behind him, a backdrop with the new foundation logo, a silhouette of a person with wings spread wide, mid-flight, reaching upward. The tagline underneath reads, "Everyone deserves to fly." Behind Marcus, standing at attention in their immaculate flight attendant uniforms, David Rivera and Lily Thompson, both looking nervous, both looking proud. The hangar is full. Every major news outlet, aviation industry press, civil rights organizations, labor unions, community leaders, education advocates, and in the front row, the first 15 scholarship recipients of the Skybridge Promise Foundation, 15 young people, ages 18-24, diverse in every way, race, gender, background, geography, 15 people who are about to have their lives changed. Marcus begins. What happened on Flight 722 was ugly. It was an act of hate and prejudice. It was everything this company stands against. Everything I've tried to build against my entire life. He pauses, letting that sink in. The room is silent, but it will not define us. It will refine us. It exposed a flaw, not in our airline, not in our employees, but in our society. A flaw in how we treat people who serve us. A flaw in how we value work. A flaw in who we think belongs in spaces and who we think doesn't. Behind him, a screen lights up with images. Young people of diverse backgrounds in flight simulators, in cockpits, in classrooms, in airports, all smiling, all dreaming. Skybridge will not just witness that problem. We will be part of the solution. Today, I'm announcing the creation of the Skybridge Promise Foundation, seeded with $50 million from my personal wealth. The reporters react, whispers, notes being written, cameras clicking. This foundation has 3 missions. He counts on his fingers. First, full-ride flight school scholarships for students from underrepresented communities. We will cover tuition, housing, living expenses, and licensing fees. Everything needed to become a commercial pilot. The average cost to become a certified commercial pilot is $75,000 to $100,000. That's prohibitive for most families. We're removing that barrier entirely. Second, travel grants for inner-city youth and underserved communities. Too many young people have never left their neighborhoods, never seen the ocean, never been on a plane, never experienced the world beyond their zip code. We will change that. We'll fund educational trips, cultural exchanges, family reunions, travel that broadens horizons and creates opportunity. Third, professional development programs for service workers in the aviation industry. Flight attendants, gate agents, ground crew, maintenance staff, everyone who makes this industry work. They deserve investment in their futures too. Training programs, leadership development, education support. We're investing in the people who take care of passengers every day. The applause is building. Marcus waits for it to quiet. We are turning an act of hate into a generation of opportunity. We are proving that when someone tries to make the world smaller, crueler, more exclusive, We respond by making it bigger, kinder, more inclusive. He turns to David and Lily, gestures for them to step forward. I also want to honor two people who faced abuse with grace and professionalism that day. David Rivera, our head purser on Flight 722, has been promoted to Director of Crew Safety and Support. He will be developing new protocols for handling difficult situations, training pursers across our fleet, and ensuring that crew members never have to face situations like Flight 722 alone or unsupported. David steps forward. Marcus shakes his hand. A firm grip, a moment of connection. The applause is warm, sustained. Lily Thompson, one of our flight attendants that day, has been promoted to lead instructor for our company-wide empathy and de-escalation training program. She will be teaching other crew members how to handle difficult situations with the same grace and professionalism she showed. She'll be helping us build a culture where our employees feel supported, protected, and valued. Lily steps forward, and Marcus doesn't just shake her hand, he hugs her. A real hug, the kind that says, "You mattered then. You matter now. You will always matter." Lily is crying but smiling through the tears. The applause is thunderous. Some people in the audience are standing. A reporter raises her hand. Rachel Park from ABC 7. Mr. Bellamy, can you comment on Victoria Whitmore's sentencing? Marcus's face becomes carefully neutral. The courts have done their job. Justice has been served, appropriately. My focus now, our focus, is on the future. On these 15 young people behind me who are about to begin their journey to becoming pilots. On the thousands more we'll help in the years to come. That's what matters. That's what I want to talk about. Another reporter. Will you pursue civil damages against Miss Whitmore or Reynolds and Drake? No. This was never about money or revenge. It was about dignity, about respect, about making sure service workers everywhere know that they matter, that they're protected, that we have their backs. The foundation is how we do that. Questions about the past are less interesting to me than possibilities for the future. More questions follow. About funding, about selection criteria, about the curriculum, about timelines, about expansion plans. Marcus answers them all with passion and detail. This is what he wants to talk about. Not the assault, not Victoria, not revenge, the future. And when the formal press conference ends, Marcus does something unusual. He invites the scholarship recipients to come forward, to speak, to share their dreams. Isabella Morales, 22, Latina, from East LA, single mother working 2 jobs to support her 4-year-old daughter. I never thought I'd be able to afford flight school. This scholarship. It's not just paying for my training. It's giving my daughter a future. It's showing her that her mum can achieve impossible things. That's worth more than any amount of money. David Kim, 19, Korean American from the Bronx, first in his family to attend college. My parents immigrated here with nothing. They worked in restaurants, in laundromats, at whatever jobs they could find, saving every penny so I could have opportunities they never had. This scholarship honors their sacrifice. I'm going to make them proud. I'm going to make all of you proud. Jasmine Washington, 24, black, from Southside Chicago, former foster youth who aged out of the system at 18. I've been told my whole life what I can't do, can't afford college, can't escape poverty, can't become a pilot. That's for other people. People who don't look like me, people who didn't grow up like me. Mr. Bellamy just told me I can. That's everything. That's the whole world changing. The media captures it all. The tears, the hope, the dreams becoming real, the transformation of tragedy into possibility. This is the story Marcus once told. Not the drink in his face, but the wings these students are about to earn. Not what was taken from him, but what he's giving to them. Not hate, but hope. 6 months after the incident, LaGuardia Airport, Terminal B, 6:47 a.m. on a cold Tuesday in December. Victoria Whitmore stands in the employee entrance of LaGuardia Airport wearing a bright orange reflective vest. Across the back, in large black letters, Kuratweet ordered community service. She's completed 97 hours. 103 remaining. Her supervisor, Rosa Martinez, 58, Latina, has been a janitor at LaGuardia for 20 years. She doesn't know who Victoria is, doesn't follow social media, doesn't watch the news much, doesn't care about viral videos. She just knows she has a community service worker assigned to her crew for 200 hours. "You're late," Rosa says. Her English carries a thick accent, the vowels round and warm despite the words being correction. Her hands are rough from decades of hard work, calloused, strong, capable. "I'm sorry. The train was delayed and don't be sorry. Be on time. We start at 6:30, not 6:45, not 6:47, 6:30. "Yes, ma'am." Rosa hands her supplies. Industrial-strength garbage bags, spray cleaner that smells like chemicals and pine, paper towels, rubber gloves that are too big for Victoria's hands. You start with Terminal B bathrooms, women's and men's, empty all trash, wipe all sinks and counters, mop all floors, check toilet paper, paper towels, soap. You understand? "Yes." "Good. I check your work in 1 hour. If it's not good, you do it again." Victoria takes the supplies and walks toward the first bathroom. It's 7 o'clock am now. The terminal is starting to fill with morning travelers, business people rushing to make early flights, families dragging sleepy children and too much luggage, students with backpacks heading back to college. Some of them recognize her. She hears the whispers. "Is that? Oh my God, it is. The woman from the video. She's cleaning bathrooms. Karma's real. Your phones come out. People photograph her. The photos will be on Twitter within minutes. New viral content. Remember that racist lady who threw a drink at the airline CEO? Well, check out her new job." Victoria keeps her head down, goes into the bathroom, starts working. The trash cans are full, overflowing. The sinks are dirty, toothpaste spit, makeup smudges, water spots. There's paper towel all over the floor, wadded up and thrown in the general direction of trash cans, but missing. Someone missed the toilet entirely in one of the stalls. She puts on the rubber gloves, thinking, absurdly, of her antibacterial wipes on the plane, her disgust at airplane surfaces, her contempt for this exact kind of work, her absolute certainty that she would never, ever do work like this. She cleans it all. Hour 1 is hell. Her back hurts. Her hands hurt despite the gloves. The smell of industrial cleaner makes her eyes water and her throat burn. Hour 2 is worse. More trash. More mess. More people recognizing her, pointing, laughing, taking photos. But hour 3 is when something shifts. The mirror moment. Month 3. Around hour 100. The Victoria is restocking paper towels in the women's restroom when 3 women enter. Business travelers, expensive suits, designer bags, clicking heels, talking loudly, confidently. She recognizes them immediately. Not these specific women, but the type, the category, the mindset, because they're her. From 6 months ago, I'm just saying, the service on airlines has completely deteriorated, one of them says. She's blonde, maybe 40, confident. Armani suit, Prada bag, diamond earrings catching the fluorescent light. They hire people who have no concept of premium service, no standards. Victoria freezes, Keeps restocking. They don't notice her, don't see her. She's wearing an orange vest and rubber gloves. She's invisible. Last week, I had a flight attendant who couldn't even get my drink order right, another woman adds, checking her makeup in the mirror. Twice. I had to explain twice that I wanted vodka, not gin. How hard is that? It's literally her job. They're just not trained properly anymore, the blonde woman says. They hire anyone. Diversity quotas. No real standards. Just checking boxes. Victoria's hands stop moving. She's listening to herself. From 6 months ago, these are her words, her tone, her contempt, her absolute certainty that she was better than the people serving her. Oh, sorry, the third woman says, finally noticing Victoria, seeing the orange vest. We'll get out of your way. It's not mean, just dismissive. The way you'd acknowledge furniture being delivered, the way you'd step aside for a cleaning cart. They leave, heels clicking away down the hallway. Victoria stands alone in the bathroom, looks at herself in the mirror. Orange vest, hair pulled back in a simple ponytail, no makeup, hands red from cleaning chemicals, rubber gloves hanging from her fingers. She looks like exactly the kind of person she used to look through, invisible, unimportant, beneath notice, not worth seeing as human. And she realizes those women weren't being cruel. They probably think of themselves as good people. They probably donate to charity. They probably have diverse friend groups. They probably consider themselves liberal, open-minded, kind. They just don't see service workers as people who matter, the way she didn't, the way she'd trained herself not to. Victoria sits down on the closed toilet seat, puts her head in her hands, and for the first time since the incident, for the first time in maybe her entire adult life, she cries not from self-pity, not from shame about being caught, not from anger at consequences, but from genuine understanding of the harm she caused, not just to Marcus, to every person she ever treated as less than human, every flight attendant she snapped at, every gate agent she dismissed, every server she was rude to, every housekeeper she ignored, every Uber driver she treated like a chauffeur instead of a person, every single person whose job was to serve her and who she made feel small. It's not redemption, but it's the beginning of seeing, and sometimes that's all you can ask for. She wipes her eyes, stands up, finishes restocking the paper towels. Rosa finds her 20 minutes later. You okay? Victoria looks at her, really looks at her, sees the lines around Rosa's eyes that come from smiling through hard work, sees the strength in her hands, sees the dignity in how she does this work every day without complaint. I'm okay, Victoria says. Rosa, can I ask you something? Sure. How long have you been doing this work? 20 years. Here at LaGuardia. And do people ever... do they treat you badly? Rosa laughs. Not bitter, just knowing. Sometimes. People don't see us, you know. We clean their bathrooms, we empty their trash, but they don't see us. We're invisible. How do you handle it? Rosa shrugs. I remember my mother. She cleaned houses for rich families, came home every day with her back hurting, her hands hurting. But she was proud, because she did honest work, because she supported her family, because work is work. It has dignity if you do it with pride. She looks at Victoria. You're learning that now, I think. Victoria nods. Can't speak. Too much in her throat. Come on, Rosa says gently. Terminal C needs cleaning. I'll show you how to do the floors right. And Victoria follows her. Learning. The Skybridge incident didn't just change 2 lives. It changed an industry. Changed conversations. Changed expectations. 6 months later. Measurable impact. Aviation industry changes. Within 6 months, every major U.S. airline implemented new passenger conduct policies. Delta Airlines, zero-tolerance policy. First offense equals lifetime ban from Delta. No appeals. They've already banned 47 passengers. American Airlines. Increased penalties for interference with crew. Fines up to $50,000 per incident. Criminal prosecution pursued in every case. They created a do not fly database, shared with TSA. United Airlines created crew support hotline. Flight attendants can report abuse incidents directly to corporate security 24/7, bypassing local management. Incidents trigger immediate investigation. Southwest, JetBlue, Alaska Airlines all followed suit with similar or stronger policies. The message was clear. The era of the customer is always right. That was over. Crew safety and dignity came first. The flight attendant unions praised the changes. Sarah Nelson, president of the Association of Flight Attendants CWA, issued a statement. What Marcus Bellamy did, standing up for his crew, making it clear that abuse will not be tolerated, using his power to protect rather than punish. That's leadership. Every CEO in this industry should follow his example, and because of his actions, they are federal legislative impact. The Federal Aviation Reauthorization Act was amended 6 months after the incident. The new provisions, informally called the Bellamy Amendments, included doubled penalties for interfering with flight crew, now up to 40 years maximum. Mandatory minimum sentences increased from 5 to 7 years. Creation of a federal passenger incident database tracking problem passengers across all airlines. Required airlines to report all incidents to FAA within 24 hours. Mandated annual bias training for all airline employees. Senator Maria Rodriguez, de California, introduced the amendments with Marcus present in the gallery. Flight attendants are not servants. They are safety professionals doing one of the hardest jobs in America. They deserve the same protections we give to police officers, firefighters, and other first responders. If you assault a flight attendant, you should face serious federal consequences. The Sky Bridge incident showed us what can happen when we fail to protect service workers. These amendments ensure we don't fail again. The bill passed 94-6 in the Senate, 387-48 in the House. The President signed it 3 months after the incident. Cultural shift beyond aviation. The incident sparked broader conversations about service worker treatment across industries. Op-eds appeared in major newspapers. New York Times, The Sky Bridge Incident and America's Service Worker Problem by columnist David Brooks. Washington Post, When did we decide it was okay to abuse people just doing their jobs? By editorial board. Los Angeles Times, From Flight Attendants to Fast Food Workers. Why Dignity Matters, by labor reporter Alana Samuels. Restaurant workers started sharing their own stories using hashtag #IStandWithServiceWorkers. Retail workers, hotel staff, healthcare workers. The movement grew organically. Fed by years of accumulated frustration, businesses responded. Major restaurant chains posted signs. Abuse of our staff will result in immediate removal and lifetime ban. Retail stores implemented panic buttons for workers facing aggressive customers. Hotels created policies protecting housekeeping staff, including right to refuse service to abusive guests. Healthcare facilities updated security protocols to protect nurses and staff from patient abuse. Marcus Bellamy became an unexpected advocate beyond aviation. He gave speeches at labor conferences, appeared on podcasts, wrote op-eds, always with the same message: respect isn't determined by salary or status. It's determined by our shared humanity. Every person doing honest work deserves to be treated with dignity, whether they're cleaning bathrooms or running companies. There's no hierarchy of human worth. There's just us, trying to build a society where everyone feels valued. His TED Talk, The Power of Treating People Like People, was viewed 12 4 million times in 6 months. Statistics. 6 months later. Discrimination complaints in aviation, down 78%. Assault incidents on aircraft, down 84%. Flight attendant job satisfaction, up 43%. Applications to flight attendant training programs, up 67%. Public approval of flight attendants, up from 72% to 91%. The data proved what Marcus had always believed. When you protect your employees, when you treat them with dignity, when you make it clear that their well-being matters, everyone benefits. Employees, customers, the entire industry. One viral video changed everything, not because of the assault, but because of how one man responded to it. Part 10. The Emotional Resolution. 1 year later. Phoenix Flight Academy, Arizona. 1 year after the incident. Hot tarmac, shimmering in afternoon sun. Temperature 104 F. Marcus Bellamy stands in the shadow of a hangar bearing the Skybridge logo. Sleek, modern, hopeful. Behind him, a small Cessna 172, white with blue trim, perfect for training. The air smells like aviation fuel and sun-baked concrete and possibility. In front of him, standing at attention in a crisp new pilot's uniform, is Isabella Morales. She's 22 years old now, single mother from East LA. Worked 2 jobs while attending flight school. Night shift at a warehouse, weekend shift at a coffee shop, every spare hour studying. Studied until 2 a.m. most nights with her daughter Sophia, now 5, asleep in the next room. And today, she's graduating. Today, she's earning her wings. Today, she becomes a pilot. Marcus holds the small metal pin, the universal symbol of certified pilots. Silver wings spread wide. It costs maybe $15, but it represents everything. 1,500 hours of ground school, 250 hours of flight time, countless hours of study, years of dreams deferred, and finally realized. He pins it on her uniform. The metal catches the Arizona sun, glinting. Congratulations, Pilot Morales. Isabella's eyes fill with tears. Her voice breaks. Mr. Bellamy, I don't have words. You gave me more than flight training. You gave me my life back. You gave my daughter a future. You showed me that people like me, people from where I'm from, we can do this. We belong here. Marcus stops her gently. You earned this, not me. Every hour in that simulator, and I know there were hundreds. Every test you passed, every early morning you dragged yourself to ground school after working all night. Every moment you chose studying over sleeping. That was all you. I just removed the financial obstacles. You did the work. But without the scholarship, without your determination, the scholarship would have meant nothing. Some people get opportunities and waste them. You got an opportunity, and you seized it with both hands, and you didn't let go even when it was hard. That's character. That's strength. That's all you, Isabella. Be proud of yourself. Isabella wipes her eyes, smearing mascara, not caring. I am. For the first time in my life, I'm actually proud of myself. Good. Now go show the world what you can do. And tell Sophia I expect to see her in a pilot's uniform in about 20 years. Isabella laughs through tears. Deal. Marcus steps back, and the full picture reveals itself. Behind Isabella, standing in a perfect line, are 47 more graduates, the first full class of Skybridge Promise Foundation scholars. They're diverse. Black, Latina, Asian, white, Native American, Middle Eastern, male, female, non-binary. They're from inner cities and rural towns, from housing projects and trailer parks, from foster care and immigrant families. They're former warehouse workers and baristas and mechanics and teachers' aides who dreamed of more. They're all wearing brand new pilot uniforms. They're all holding certificates. They're all crying. Behind them, their families are cheering, crying, celebrating, mothers holding phones high, capturing everything through tears, fathers wiping eyes with rough hands, trying not to cry in public but failing, children waving small flags, grandparents who never imagined they'd see this day. Sophia, Isabella's 5-year-old daughter, is wearing a tiny pilot costume, complete with wings and hat. She's jumping up and down, screaming, "That's my mama! That's my mama! My mama's a pilot." The media is here too, but this time covering a different story. Not assault, not racism, not viral outrage. Hope, transformation, dreams becoming real. Rachel Park from ABC7 does a stand-up with the graduates behind her. 1 year ago, Marcus Bellamy was assaulted on his own airline in an incident that shocked the nation. Today, he's standing in Arizona pinning wings on 48 new pilots who might never have had this chance without his foundation. This is what turning tragedy into triumph looks like. This is what using power for good looks like. This is proof that one person's hate doesn't have to define the story if we choose to write a better ending. Marcus stands watching these new pilots celebrate. He's thinking about that flight, about vodka dripping from his beard, about Lily's trembling hands and David's steady professionalism, about Victoria's satisfied smile after throwing the drink. He's thinking about how he could have responded with anger, with lawsuits, with revenge, with making her suffer as much as possible. Instead, he built this. 48 pilots, with 52 more in training, with 340 more starting ground school next month, with applications from 3,100 students for next year's class, $50 million invested, thousands of lives changed, an industry transformed. Was it worth the humiliation? He watches Isabella hug her daughter, the little girl wrapping her arms around her mother's neck, both of them crying and laughing. He watches Sophia touch the wings on her mother's uniform with reverent fingers, like they're made of magic. He watches David Kim FaceTime his parents in Korea, showing them his uniform, hearing them cry with pride across 6,000 miles. He watches Jasmine Washington, former foster youth from Chicago's South Side, now a certified pilot, being hugged by the social worker who never gave up on her. Yes, it was worth it. Every second of it. Garden State Parkway, New Jersey. Same day. Cold drizzle. Gray sky. 42F. A woman in a stained orange reflective vest stands on the shoulder of Garden State Parkway, just south of exit 127. She's part of a state highway beautification crew, the overflow from the court-ordered community service program, people who've completed their required hours but still need work. She's 43 years old. Her hair is pulled back in a simple ponytail, damp from the drizzle. No makeup. Her hands are red and chapped from cold and chemicals. She's wearing jeans, work boots, and that bright orange vest that makes her visible to passing cars doing 75 in a 65 zone. Victoria Whitmore bends down, picks up a plastic water bottle, drops it in the trash bag, moves to the next piece of litter. A McDonald's wrapper, soggy with rain, then a cigarette butt, then a beer can, then a styrofoam cup. The rain is cold. It soaks through her vest, through her jacket, through her shirt. Her hands are numb. Her back aches, a constant throb that never quite goes away. She's been doing this for 3 hours in the rain, and she has 2 more hours to go before her shift ends. A truck speeds past, too fast, too close to the shoulder. It hits a puddle. Black, icy water splashes her from head to toe. The water is so cold it takes her breath away. It soaks her completely, drips from her hair, runs down her neck inside her jacket, fills her boots. Victoria doesn't even flinch. She's used to it by now, used to the trucks, used to the cold, used to being invisible to people who speed past at 75 miles per hour, never thinking about the person picking up their trash, never considering that maybe they shouldn't throw garbage out their windows in the first place. She bends down. picks up the next bottle, and in that moment, standing in the rain, soaked through, holding garbage, invisible to the world speeding past, she has absolute clarity. This is what she became. Not because of Marcus Bellamy, not because of the viral video, not because of the judge, not because of the court system, because of the choices she made, the entitlement she felt, the cruelty she inflicted, the people she treated as invisible. She remembers her words. That's where trash belongs. She looks at the trash in her hand. The irony is complete, cosmic, poetic. She spent years looking down at people who did this work, looking down at service workers, looking down at anyone she considered beneath her. And now she's one of them. No, she corrects herself, the thought coming with unexpected clarity. She's doing what they do. But she's not one of them. Because they do this work with dignity, with pride in their contribution, with the knowledge that keeping places clean matters, that it's honest work, that it serves the community. She's just doing it because a judge told her to. But maybe, she thinks, standing in the cold rain, truck exhaust in her nostrils, icy water squelching in her boots, maybe that's where change starts. Not with wanting to be better, but with doing the work anyway, with showing up even when it's hard, with learning humility one piece of trash at a time. She picks up the next bottle. A car honks as it passes, not angry, not mocking, just acknowledging her presence, making sure she knows they see her, that they're giving her space, that they recognize she's there, doing work that matters, keeping the highway clean. Someone sees her, not as a viral video villain, not as a cautionary tale, not as a meme, just as a person doing hard work on a cold day. It's not redemption. It's not forgiveness. It's not the end of consequences. It's just a moment of being human, of doing honest work, of existing in the world without pretense or performance or the armor of status and wealth. And maybe, that's enough to build on. Maybe. She picks up the next piece of trash, and the next, and the next. The rain keeps falling. The cars keep speeding past, and Victoria keeps working. One piece of trash at a time. Two images, existing simultaneously in the same world, on the same day, under the same sun. Marcus Bellamy stands in Arizona sunshine, surrounded by 48 new pilots who represent a future that's more just, more fair, more full of possibility. His clothes are dry, his face is smiling. The air smells like possibility. He's built something that will outlast him, something that will ripple forward through generations as each pilot he helps goes on to help others. Victoria Whitmore stands in New Jersey rain, picking up trash discarded by strangers, learning humility in the cold. She's wet, alone, diminished, but she's also learning, growing, beginning to see, beginning to understand, beginning, maybe, to change. Both started from the same moment. One threw a drink. One chose dignity. The difference? Marcus had authority built from the ground up, earned through hard work and sacrifice, wielded not as a weapon, but as a shield for people who needed protecting. Victoria had power from privilege, from status, from the accident of being born into circumstances that opened doors, and she used it to hurt people. One builds legacies, the other picks up the pieces. Your character shows in how you treat people who can do nothing for you, in how you wield power when you have it, in whether you use your advantages to lift others up or push them down. Victoria spent years treating service workers as invisible, as obstacles, as less than human. She learned, the hardest way possible, that everyone matters, that everyone deserves dignity, that the person you dismiss today might be the person with power over your fate tomorrow, but more importantly, that everyone deserves respect whether they have power or not. Marcus spent years building a company on the principle that employees matter, that service workers deserve dignity and support, that a title doesn't determine worth, When he was tested, when he faced public humiliation, he used that moment not for revenge but for justice, not for punishment but for transformation, not to destroy one person but to protect thousands of others. That's the difference between power and authority. Power is what you take. Authority is what you earn. Power can be stripped away in 3 seconds. Authority endures because it's built on character. Choose wisely. Choose kindness. Choose to be someone who builds rather than destroys. Choose to see every person you encounter, every flight attendant, every cashier, every janitor, every person doing honest work, as a human being who deserves dignity. Because the world is watching, the internet never forgets. And karma, it turns out, is very, very real. 48 pilots took their first flights today because one man chose grace under pressure. One woman picks up trash on a highway because she chose cruelty. Both got exactly what they earned. Thank you so much for staying with this story. If you were moved by Marcus's response and satisfied by Victoria's accountability, I want to know what you're thinking. What hit you hardest? Was it the moment Marcus revealed who he was? Was it watching Victoria realize what she'd done? Was it seeing those 48 pilots receive their wings? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's talk about what this story means. And here's the real question. Have you ever witnessed someone treating service workers with disrespect? A flight attendant being snapped at? A server being talked down to? A cashier being yelled at? A janitor being ignored like they're invisible? Someone just doing their job who had to absorb abuse from someone who thought they were better? What did you do? Did you speak up? Did you stay silent? Did you wish later you'd said something? Share your story in the comments. Your experience matters, because every time someone speaks up, every time someone stands with service workers, we make it a little harder for people like Victoria to act that way. We make it a little safer for people like Lily and David to do their jobs with dignity. Here's what you can do right now. Today. The next time you fly, thank your flight attendants. Use their names if you can see their name tags. Look them in the eye. Let them know you see them as people, not as servants. The next time you're at a restaurant, treat your server with respect. Say please. Say thank you. Leave a decent tip, even if the service wasn't perfect, because you don't know what they're dealing with behind the scenes. The next time you see someone being mistreated, be the person who speaks up. You don't have to be confrontational. Sometimes just acknowledging the service worker, thanking them, showing kindness in front of the person being cruel, that's enough. It changes the dynamic. It reminds everyone in the room that humanity matters. Small actions create big changes. If this story moved you, inspired you, made you think differently about how we treat people, hit that like button. Let me know this resonated. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Someone who loves a good karma story. Someone who believes in justice. Someone who works in service and needs to know their dignity matters. Subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you never miss another story of justice served, of accountability delivered, of good people being recognized, and bad behavior facing consequences. We've got more incredible true stories coming your way. Stories about courage, about standing up, about the power of treating people right. Drop a comment right now. Have you witnessed discrimination that needs to be called out? Your voice matters in this conversation. Your story could help someone else find the courage to speak up. Remember this: how you treat people when you think nobody important is watching. That's who you really are. Marcus Bellamy knew that. Victoria Whitmore learned it the hard way. You get to choose which example you follow. Choose kindness. Choose dignity. Choose to see every person you encounter as someone who matters, because they do. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.